There we go. I got it going now, I think. Sorry, I'm just doing an extra bit of work. So I've got that going to Restream, which is going out to Periscope and YouTube. And I've got another computer. This one goes out to Restream. And I've got another computer that's going out to Facebook, but it's not doing so good. It's kind of sluggish. I don't know why it's doing that. I have to figure that out. I don't like it. Anyways, this is where anyone can come on and talk. Well, almost anyone. And talk about just about anything. I kind of want to get kicked off of Facebook. That's why I'm kind of live streaming on Facebook. And it's pretty bad right now. I don't know why. I wonder if it's I think it's an encoding issue. I want to figure it out because it's bumming me out. I feel like the Max guy. I don't know if that's the right guy. You know, the show back in the 80s, was it? Maybe it was even, yeah, it was in Max Headroom. You guys remember that? 80s? Does no one remember that? Oh, ISPs have been throttling. That could be the case. I don't like Facebook much anyway. I think they would want to throttle me. Anyways, anyone watching on Facebook, just watch me on Steemit. A lot to talk about. A lot's been going on. I know a lot of people have been talking, especially with 9/11. Ooh, 9/11 this, 9/11 that. You got the people who totally believe the government and what they say. You got people who say it's the government that did it. And you got people who say, no, it's direct energy weapons and it was Israel. No, it was aliens. No, it was whatever. 9/11 happened. Government went to war for it. They haven't ended the wars yet. So we have to deal with that. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It's people who aren't going to believe it. People who aren't going to look into it, So it doesn't matter what really happened, especially in the past. Heck, there's a lot of history in the past that a lot of people don't realize have been hidden or are misled to believing things that haven't happened. But they'll talk about the history that they know. But it really doesn't matter too much as far as now and in the future because, well, we're almost never going to find out what really happened in the past. And also, does it really matter? I mean, the things that are happening, people know what's wrong. People know what real violence is. At least I would hope so. That used to be common sense. It's not common anymore. People don't even have any sense these days. Oh man, that Facebook thing is really bumming me out. Why is it so sketchy? I gotta figure it out. My idea is it's probably, yeah, net neutrality, Ryan. That's pretty much it. Could also be my ISP, just because there's only so many uploads I can handle at once. I mean, I think it's a decent 15 megabits per second upload speed. And if I'm going at 1080p, 30 frames per second, I should be able to handle it fine with 1, 2, 3 uploads and Zoom. So there's that. I know it's late for a lot of people. It's almost midnight, and I don't want to go over 3 hours. And I really want to eat. I didn't get to eat dinner because I was helping out with the people who don't know, especially people who are actually watching me on Facebook. Whoa. Unity4J. Use the hashtag. You won't find it on Google. You'll have to go to Twitter. You'll have to go to YouTube. Steemit, definitely. Bitchute, probably. And you'll find out. There's State of the Movement address number 3. There's been 2 before. If you didn't know about it, well, you can know about it now. There's been 3 live vigils. 1 extra that was pre-vigil. All about freeing Julian Assange. Putting more notifications out there about what's going on with Julian Assange and all that jazz. So all that was today. I want to eat, because it was going to start at 7 my time, then it got postponed to 8:30, and during that time I was prepping probably an hour before that anyway, and I was gathering videos so I could show we could show new videos that a lot of great people have made. A lot of great people made a lot of great videos, and I got to use them, and that was awesome to see them. I mean, the Legos, stop motion Lego animation, that even though it was barely over 30 seconds, but it was good 30 seconds worth of stuff. Hey Eric, how's it going? How are you doing? Hopefully everything's okay. I know that there's also a big hurricane that's been going on in the Atlantic, even though I don't really live there. I don't really watch any cable television. I don't even watch independent media television. It's not even television. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty much disconnected. I'm only connected to where it matters for what I want what people to know. People don't want to know, they don't need to watch. People they don't want to know, they don't need to listen, or they don't want to listen. But people who do, maybe they'll glean something out of it, right? Maybe it's enough to listen to me saying, "You're crazy, Ebon. You're just a basement dweller who knows nothing, who achieved nothing in life." And I laugh at you. But yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how many people who actually are on my Facebook list, and I don't really even look at Facebook anymore. It's depressing. It is. But I want to just make sure that maybe the things that I talk about, maybe the things that I restream, maybe the topics that I talk about, that Facebook says, nope, we don't want you to do that, and we're going to cut you off. That's one less thing for me. And I'm serious. That is annoying, Facebook users. Yeah. Facebook people, watch it on another channel. I think the link to Steemit is in there. Well, I really don't like talking all by myself. I was thinking that maybe if no one comes on in 10 minutes, but maybe more than one person, I'll just go ahead and do a on-topic video, which I'm actually gonna do a topic of, and just do one of those conspiracy theory things that people love. Okay, but in the meanwhile, I guess I could work on some stuff. One of the things I want to work on, and let's go to the work solo, that way you can see me and kind of look into this. So I want to make a printout of this, a poster, and I hope, and maybe I do hope, that Christian is watching, but I'm going to make a copy for me and copy for him and other stuff. You know, people are really into comic books. I mean, comic book heroes have a place and a purpose, and I think what I like about Captain America, and people who don't know this one, you know, it's his different speeches that he makes, but the one that I'm gonna print out and make a post out of is this one. Pretty cool, huh? And this was in the Civil War movie, in a way. Not quite. It's kind of in a way. Anyways, I'll be right back. I want to print this out. One of the problems with this high quality paper is that, do I know if someone's joining or not? Ah, now there's double of me. Dang it. I'm sorry, people. Ah, my goodness, so much that's up. Here we go. The thing with handling nice quality photo paper is you don't want to get your oily fingers all over it, so I wear gloves. I need to get non-disposable gloves because I do a lot of printing. As long as my hands don't get sweaty, I can reuse these though. bet you guys can't see what I'm doing here. One day I'll probably set up a second camera and make it so people can see other parts of my basement. Woohoo! A basement! We get to see Ebon's basement. You thought I was sad. Well, I hate to break it to you. You're the one watching me in my basement. You're not even watching me yet. You're just watching me talking without even seeing me. So you're just looking at an empty basement and a picture of Captain America. Alright, let's print this out. See how it goes. And let's see. Do it that way. Do a print. And you can see that I have a Canon Pixma Pro 100. Very, very high quality, good stuff. Let's move it away. I can't see past my camera. A3. High. Some do I want to use semi-gloss or other glossy? How about that? We're going to do 2 copies. Getting ready to print. And other glossy. How is it going to look? It looks okay. Borderless, good. And sometimes I would just print 1. Alright, let's just print 2. Hey Shirley, how's it going? You should come on here. I haven't heard you guys talk in a long time. Of course, I missed Eric's. No, I missed yeah, I missed Eric your live stream. I missed Ryan's live stream. A couple of other people's live stream. But hey, we could talk here, I guess. I'm just waiting out for the print to finish. There's been a couple of ideas too. I want to print out a lot of stuff. So, sorry, that's the holdup, Christian. If you ever get to watching this, because I want to surprise you with a couple of things that you don't necessarily have to give out. Hopefully, you don't give out, because this is like probably $3 worth of print and ink combined, but people would buy it for like 45 bucks. I mean, the size of it, the print quality, oh my goodness. Let's see, how much would it cost to print something like this? 13 by 19 Captain America print poster. How about that? $10. Ooh, there's even more. Actually, $10 ain't bad. I'd be making a profit of $7. At least, I'm sure I could get more. I mean, goodness gracious. Of course, it would have to be donations because of copyright. So that's why I give it out for free. Hey, you can't sell that stuff. That's copyright. Well, they just paid for everything else and donated the extra. So maybe I don't know. I don't know if that even works. But heck, I mean, that's with the discount. It's $9.90. That's a good one though. I might want to print one out for my own sake. That's a great thing about having your own printer. It doesn't matter what you print. It's gonna be yours. No one has to get sued for printing it out for you. Oh no, did this come out right? No, it didn't. Borderless. I gotta cancel the second one. I'm gonna put the paper out. Let me see. Sorry, I just have to do that every once in a while just so I can see if anyone's coming on. I'll be right back. I gotta remove a piece of paper. I don't know how that happened. I'll have to double check. I mean, it looked good in the preview. It didn't look like anything was going to get cut off. I'm telling you, everyone always seems to have problems with printers. 18 people watching. What are you guys watching? Listening? And that's just on DLive. I don't know how many people are watching on YouTube. Why would anyone want to watch on YouTube? 4 people watching on YouTube. I know some of you guys have to be FBI. Hello, FBI. Dark occultists. Hello, dark occultists. Maybe local police. Hey, local police. Background checkers. Hi there. Gosh, wouldn't it be interesting to know all the people that watch anything that you do? Just really, you guys are getting paid how much to just monitor me? A guy in his basement printing out Captain America posters. That's what the world has come to. You guys got nothing better to do. I mean, you guys could be watching Weather Channel. I mean, the guys that are out there just filming the weather when they're out there and say, yeah, this is category 5 hurricane. Oh, it's switching to category 4, and you know what? A couple hours it'll go down to category 3, category 2. But if it doesn't, oh man, the damage that it'll do. And look at these grocery stores. They sold out of water, sold out of crackers. How is my print ink doing? So yeah, I just replaced the gray. A couple others are looking low. I eventually will redo that. And again, the reason why my print costs are so low is the ink. So those that don't know, I get ink in bulk, and I modify the ink cartridges so I can refill them. And so rather than spending $128 on ink cartridges, it's probably and each one is going to be what, $15, something crazy like that. I don't know. Instead, each ink cartridge is probably like divided by, it's 4 ounces, and I've got 16 ounces. 4 ounces can refill 3 times, so 3 times 5, 15, $1 per ink cartridge rather than $15. Now that is thriftiness. Anyways, you're about to see the results of one printout, which pisses me off because it cut off the top. I need to resize it. I don't know. Everything went perfect. You saw it. You saw it if you are from the East Coast. Sar. What I think would be good, I don't know, I like the full printout because you could see him talking to Spider-Man. I don't know. I've seen good memes out there. And you guys heard the news that there are certain memes in the UK? Maybe not in the UK. The EU passed a legislation where it's illegal to create memes, and you can't use a headline that's been used by media, mainstream corporate media. You have to pay a fee to use it. Isn't that something? Okay. All right. So I have to cancel printing for the other one. Figure out what the problem was. That's why you want to do things one at a time. Create a test page. Oh man, but still, look at this. And I'm gonna put it in its full glory here. Wow, ain't that nice? That's pretty cool. See, for some reason the top got cut off. I would rather have a little bit of the bottom cut off than the top. Anyways, this will be my copy since I don't want someone getting a bogus copy. Alright, I would probably hang it up. Well, I'm not going to hang it up anywhere. Son of a gun. I'll probably put it in a wall behind me sometime, somewhere. But that's where it'll go for now. Maybe I'll put it up here in between. Interesting. My daughter and my son will grow up looking at posters of Julian Assange and Captain America. Who else will I put up there? Superman. I always loved Superman as a kid, so maybe. Okay, so that is that. Let's see that the revolution would. Oh, Geest Cracker. Is that RSFO? Is RSFO Geek Striker? My goodness. I have a pretty decent memory, I'd say. Not the best. Decent. And okay, still no one. No one. Alright, let me see. Let me print again. See how that is? Look, it's 13 by 19. And it's cut off. You can see it's cut off at the top. How did that happen? Can I move it? Oh, if it pictured a frame. That was the culprit. Anyways. And what I would do is I would just cut off that long part. Which I can do on my cutting board. Print. Now we'll get a good print. Yes, we will. Actually, that border is actually kind of nice on the outside. We'll see. No, because then you can see that there's definitely cut off, so I'm definitely gonna have to cut that off. Start printing. Sweet. So that one would be the good copy. And then my hands are too sweaty, so I may not be able to reuse these gloves. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. Hey, Eric's here. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Watch me pull purple gloves out of my hands. It's gotta be entertaining. So, did any part of the hurricane go through your side of the neck of the woods?
No, it's heading towards North and South Carolina, where it's projected to go.
Yeah, is it still Category 5?
Let me go check. I haven't checked in a while.
Yeah.
Like I checked today.
Hey, do you want me to print you out a poster? I gotta check these shipping costs. They're gonna kill me, but.
Oh, you would print me out a poster of anything?
Yeah, of anything. On one catch, you also have to hang up a picture of Hillary Clinton as you're on the wall too. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that.
If it's the picture with Hillary Clinton that has like cunt on the background, oh, you fucking bet I would hang that up in my. You bet I would hang that up. Like the if you did that, oh yeah, definitely. I would definitely put that up on my wall. And it'd be like, oh, so suddenly art is offensive now? Now you're getting offended by words? What's next? People are gonna get offended by art? It's like they're looking for so many things to be offended about, and it's really, really funny. Just like with the whole thing with the memes.
Yeah, I can't believe
that. It's like,
that.
now we got offended by these memes. Now we're gonna have to go and censor them and copyright and stuff.
I know.
I mean, it's the establishment that's completely offended and they're so triggered about it.
Yeah.
They want to go and censor stuff that doesn't match their establishment humor, because that's what I really think it is, though, because they like the establishment is like, oh yeah, we have this humor is much more better than someone else's creativity. They're going after creativity too, so that's why the EU sucks big time for doing that.
On that front, just look at the comedians these days, the mainstream comedians. Heck,
they suck.
Yeah, they're even sharing the same material. When does that ever happen? I could share a video. Maybe I could find it. Basically,
it's like.
Go ahead.
It's like with these celebrities that think that they're funny, but here's one thing: their jokes have become more boring, more irrelevant, more out of touch with actual real American people, and plus they have that the BS clapping, laughing. Hey Christian, how's it going?
Hey Christian.
Hey guys. I saw that you were printing out a Captain America poster.
Yeah, I think you would appreciate that one. But I don't know what like maybe we could talk comics tonight. What comics do you like? Because you went to Comic-Con when I met you. So I know you're into
Yeah,
comic books. And I think what you got me was the was it DC? I know I have them somewhere. You gave me 5 copies.
I got you some DC and I got
And
you
you gave
some
me
Marvel.
you gave me some Marvel as well? What?
Yeah, I
I thought they were all
remember.
5 of something.
I gave you some. I think it was Spider-Man, Marvel Knights, Spider-Man, and Wolverine
Oh
one
yeah,
through
that's
four.
right.
And then for DC, I think I did give you Superman.
Okay. I need to find them because I know I packed them up so they wouldn't get wrinkled or anything like that during the move.
Right.
So they're packed
hmm
somewhere good. And I kind of didn't want to read them until I had gloves on and I could just read it to people live so they could experience the joy of the comic books and not just myself.
That comic.
Yeah, man.
So who's your
That's pretty
favorite
cool.
superhero? Either Marvel and DC, I guess you could say. But more importantly, who you pick is also dependent on how good the supervillains are. Because I think what makes the superhero are the supervillains.
Yeah.
You know who's my favorite superhero?
Go ahead, Eric. Yeah. Go ahead.
It would have to be South Park: The Fractured Butthole. The main character, since he could select, whatever powers they give him.
Right.
Somehow I knew that was coming.
Yeah, me too. Well, if you're going off of like the Rogues Gallery, I think it's pretty much good consensus that Batman has the best gallery of villains of all the heroes out there, and then you maybe have like Spider-Man and Superman, Flash has some good ones too. Uh, but Batman, I really like Batman, uh, Wolverine, Moon Knight, uh, like Spider-Man 2099. It's pretty cool.
You actually like the new Spider-Man? Because there's
The new
bit
Spider-Man?
2099. Isn't that the new Spider-Man, or am I thinking of something else?
No, it's an alternate version of Spider-Man that takes place in the year 2099.
So
The
it's
futuristic version.
okay. So who's the Spider-Man 2099? Because I've got no idea.
His name was Miguel O'Hara. He's half Mexican, half Irish. He's pretty cool with the his powers don't come from radiation. His powers come from uh, genetic. It's genetic. He got into a lab accident and affected his DNA, and it made his DNA like 50% spider.
Mm-hmm.
Which in real life he would be dead, but
yeah, well, yeah. Even
that's kind of nowhere near here.
Yeah.
all right.
Actually, hold on 1 second, guys. I gotta go charge my phone. My phone's about to die.
Sure, no problem.
Before I lose you guys.
One question after when you're done.
But don't underestimate it.
I'm telling you, this stuff is pretty good. Although,
oh, down. I mean, it's still bad, but at least it went down.
what are you doing there, Eric?
I was just. Oh, it went down to a category too as 11 o'clock came around.
That's good.
That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, still bad, but at least it went down.
Yeah.
Let it stay disorganized. Hopefully, it'll dissipate. Cross the fingers, hopefully.
Man, you know what? If I could actually redo the entire basement, I would probably just put a lot of posters. This is a good one. You guys like it? I mean, look at that glossiness.
Nice.
Sorry, too much gloss there. Ah, there we go. I mean, that's just awesome. And you got the paper on the back. Anyways, yep. It looks like his batteries died. Hold on, let me put this
Oh.
away so it doesn't get squished.
Oh. If you can get your battery charged up, Christian, come back on. We really love for you to come on again. Was there? Oh!
I probably shouldn't be out here. Oh, there's Christian. I need to give you guys make co-host.
Hey, Christian.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No problem.
As you
I
can
just
see,
put the
Eric,
poster away. I'll show you the poster.
Okay. As you can see, Eric, I shaved my head to be in solidarity with you.
Oh, thanks.
And I got my glasses on, too.
What, I'm starting a movement now?
Yeah, the don't be triggered movement, right? Oh, it looks nice.
Triggered. Haven't
What
done
is
that
it?
in a long time.
What is Cap saying in that? I noticed there's a few, like,
Oh,
it looks like a big monologue.
sure. I'll show it on your Zoom so you can see it.
Yeah.
Share. Oh wait, not me. Cause that would ruin it. Yeah, I have to be careful here. Alright, there you go.
Oh, what else? There was something else. What was it? Something funny.
So there's a little bit more before,
Mm-hmm.
but pretty much he says, doesn't matter what the press says, doesn't matter what the politicians or the mobs say, doesn't matter if the whole country decides that something wrong is something right. This nation is founded on one principle above all else, the requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds or the consequences. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move.
Wow.
Holy shit.
So one of the things I like about superheroes, especially if someone like Captain America and I'm trying to move him to. So Captain America and Superman and a couple of others, and heck, even Jesus. What would Jesus do, right? Kind of using the same thing. What would Captain America do? What would Superman do, right? We know what they would do because their actions are always based on principle, right? It's always based on principle, nothing else. Not for greed, not for some other agenda. It's just the principle itself and the people that are affected by it. And so it's easy to know what you need to do in life, yet people don't do it. And so I know a lot of people look up to superheroes. Just look at all the superhero movies out there. People like all the superheroes, and they get to choose from the different superheroes that they like. I mean, some people may be, how they have like Team Cap versus Team Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Even Iron Man. What would Iron Man do? Yeah, Iron Man would be like, yeah, let's bring him in. That's what he would say. Let's bring him in, figure it out. And Captain America would probably be the guard, making sure he's okay and safe. But yeah, although I say we don't need superheroes because everyone waits for a superhero, what they need to do is just act like what the superhero or Jesus or whoever that they look up to would do. Heck, maybe even past people they considered heroes. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, maybe even Gandhi. There's a lot of people who just love Gandhi and things like that. So principled people. That's what a lot of these people were. And if you just stick to your principles, really, you just know you have to be engaged with fighting against all of the corruption that's going on, suppression of freedom and rights. So, but we don't have people do that. Unfortunately, not enough, I would say. We do have people that do that, but.
Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate that, man. One of the things that I really liked about the Nolan trilogy of the Batman films was that in his third movie where Batman says, I wear the mask because a hero can be anybody. That really is empowering. And it shows what films like that can do. You know, a lot of famous actors have come out and said and bashed superhero movies and, you know, dumb action, you know, fun, just tights and capes and whatnot. But you look at what specifically that trilogy did and the messages behind that, how uplifting they were. I mean, that takes like the essence of what you're talking about from the comics and just transplanting it right to the screen, like the real bare bones of it. Is, especially with Batman, somebody who doesn't have any superpowers, just a human being.
Mm-hmm.
He's really just a guy with, you know, shitloads of money.
Yeah, that plays a big factor. But he's smart too. He's one of the most intelligent people. A lot of people don't realize that. They just, yeah.
And maybe some OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah. I mean, I think to be principled, you have to be. You can't give up or give in at any time. Otherwise, what was the whole point?
Yeah, but Batman's OD, man.
Yeah,
Batman's excessive.
So the DCU, right? The DC universe. What do you think of the current Batman of the
movies?
Yeah, after the Dark Knight trilogy, the one with what's his name? Ben Affleck. Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I didn't think the movies were particularly great.
Mm-hmm.
Although I liked Batman v Superman, the extended version, the 3-hour version, much better than the one that came out in theaters. And Justice League, I thought it was very mediocre.
Yeah.
But I liked Ben Affleck's take, especially in Batman v Superman, because in Justice League, they kind of really forced on some comedic elements onto Batman that I didn't like. That felt out of place, out of character.
Yeah. A lot of them. They're trying to lighten up the tone, but the thing is, they can't mimic Marvel characters in that way with the DC characters. You know, they have their own. Like, if you wanted the comedic aspect of Batman, you just go to Bruce Wayne when he's out in public. His public persona is that comedic element.
Yeah,
right.
That would be more suiting than Batman. I mean, Batman is many people regard Batman as like the true personality of the man Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'd be, as expected, like very grim, very serious. Maybe like not like horror funny, but maybe like ironic funny, like, you know.
Yeah, what's funny is when I watched Kill Bill, I think it was Kill Bill Volume 2, where the guy, I forgot his name, well, the Bill in that character in that movie, but I forget his real name. He was in Kung Fu. He was the main actor in that.
Oh, Carradine.
Oh, David Carradine, yeah.
David Carradine,
yeah. Which I think he was murdered. He didn't die of suicide by suffocation while, you know.
Erotic asphyxiation.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yes.
But cause of death?
Yeah, that was his cause of death.
Alleged erotic asphyxiation.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, to me, it seems weird.
Yeah.
Like, Like, although, like, unlike when South Park, when they satirize, like, there are certain things that they do satirize.
Yeah.
But here's, like, one thing when it comes to, like, joking about, like, things.
Yeah.
But, like, I thought the jokes were funny on South Park when, when they made some of the jokes.
Right.
It gets to the...
But...
I know those jokes. It's just the jokes are so wrong that it's just hard not to laugh at how wrong it is. Those are those
yes.
kind of jokes.
It's like I like those jokes about South Park though.
Yeah. So at times I do too. But where I was going at is that he talks about how Superman, his real self is his Superman persona. Clark Kent is his mask, right? And if you think about it, it's also applied to Batman. Batman himself is his true self. His mask is Bruce Wayne. He pretends to be someone who he's not as his public persona. Isn't that kind of interesting?
His private persona, his true persona, private persona is Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what a lot of people
opposed to being Bruce Wayne. I mean, he's still, playing along as Bruce Wayne, but in true heart, he's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do like about Batman, though.
All right, it looks like.
But I also like Superman as well.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna turn it up a notch. Looks like David Smarth is in. All right, let's see. How you doing, Dave?
Hi, Dave.
Hello.
I think it takes a while for his mic to get set up.
Yeah.
But all right. Sorry. Continue on with your list of superheroes that you like. Some superheroes, like I like Wolverine and Hulk. Just the anger, the pure rage that they have, but they're very one-sided as far as like the story arc where it can go. It's just,
you mean one-dimensional?
One-dimensional. There you go.
Jesus is a superhero in South Park.
Super Best Friends. I love the Super Best Friends as well. Oh, speaking of Super Best Friends, episode 200 and 201 of South Park. Watch them uncensored. Don't watch a censored version. Don't watch the censored version of like episode 200 because that's the same thing that you get on the DTube.
So do they play them censored on the network TV and then they
they only aired it I think once and had maybe a re-air, but that was it. But
did they bleep it out
one time?
Did they bleep out the censored?
They did bleep out the word.
How to do it? Yeah.
They bleep out the word Muhammad and the Kyle. I learned something today. That whole speech got censored. Also,
so who wins between Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha?
Well, I don't think they would really fight against each other or anyone really.
Of course, it's Muhammad. He chops their heads off.
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Buddha's got more skills than any of them. I mean, you seen those Buddhist monks? They got some very good kung fu skills.
Yeah, they do. But
it's like the Buddha's palm.
Oh, also there is Seaman, where they, on South Park, where they just, go make fun of, they go make fun of Aquaman, but but this started in Super Best Friends episode as well. It's very funny. Also, they just, they mistakenly call him Seaman just on purpose so they could just go and giggle and just laugh. It's just like, it's like all of them are just laughing. But you know what? It's like all these, it's like all these, even like Muhammad was, all of them, all the like the religious gods were laughing at one thing, and they had that one thing and united, like humor. I mean, that's what I think about it too. That I really do think about that. It's like they did such a good job on that on South Park.
Eric, you need to quit thinking about semen. It's Just kidding.
But like that part just made me laugh.
Wow. Ebon with the one-liners tonight. Oh my god.
Hey, it's a non-serious night, I guess.
Oh my god, that was so fucking funny.
I'm never serious.
Laugh.
I mean, I never pretend to be serious. I don't mean anything I say. If anybody gets their feelings hurt, I apologize in advance. And
I'm not hurt.
Well, I was just like last time with the two ladies. I was just playing a character of a right winger. I was doing my best Ben Shapiro. And they actually said, "Oh, you sound like Ben Shapiro." I go, "Well, that's what I was trying to go for."
Oh, you got them. They weren't prepared for you.
I was joking. So, what do you guys think about the whole Google thing coming out today? I mean, you've talked about it all the time. Your masters, Ebon. I'm just being a little serious here.
Not my masters.
But God dang, they were talking like we're their subjects. That's the whole world.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. I think nationalism. I mean, it's like Christians over there trying to get his Catalonia free, right? Is that the Catalonian? Was that? And they don't give a damn about you. I mean, Google, if they don't like Catalonia, they'll say, screw Catalonia, we'll go with Spain. It's like, what the hell? I don't know. When did I wake up in this world where a multinational corporation who just got big because of multi-level marketers juicing Google search results are now making decisions in politics? It's just crazy, man. It's like social engineering on a crazy scale. I don't know.
I use DuckDuckGo.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is that stuff
DuckDuckGo?
But not many people use DuckDuckGo. They're trying to be subliminally. I mean, you remember back? I don't know if people old enough, but back in the 50s or the 30s or whatever, the drive-ins, they used to put subliminal ads in the movie theater so you could buy more popcorn, and that was an outrage, and they were dealt with.
They still have subliminal messages in commercials and in advertising.
That's why I rarely watch them. Like when I run into them, because I use ad blocker. Like I don't really run into any ads.
And when you mean subliminal, like product placement, or like how they did it back then, where they would just flash a picture, eat more popcorn, you're hungry, every 15th frame out of 26.
Well, they don't use those anymore. Just the frame rate that people might be able to see it. They do use a lot of hidden imagery where if you look for it, you'll see certain words.
That's like in the background. Yeah.
Or you'll see certain pictures that are very sexual in nature and things like that. And
unfortunately, sex sells.
Yeah.
But I'm all for legalizing prostitution now.
Yeah, I mean, girls got to work. I mean, Jesus. I mean, can all be waitresses if you don't have an education? I mean, it's a tough. When you look at it and okay, they're gonna sell their bodies. There's a price other than the money that they're making that they're selling too. Like, self-esteem. I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that they would have to sacrifice some kind of, morality or something.
Even in an industry where you're a prostitute, I mean, there always seems to be a handler, whether it's the government, whether it's a pimp.
It's legal there in Australia and in New Zealand. So I wonder if there's any stigma associated with people who are former sex workers in Australia and New Zealand, where it's like a job to a lot of people to be a lady of the night.
Oh yeah, like it's frowned upon in society, type of thing.
Yeah, like what'd you do? I'm retired. You know, I mean, you had to come up with a backstory, like, oh yeah, I invested in cryptocurrencies, or that's how come I had this house and this condo or whatever business you're running. I don't know.
I mean,
It's
if
kind of one.
if it's legal and it's their decision that they wanted to, not anyone else's, and heck, if they think it's worth the investment of their body and if their mentality can handle it and all this other stuff, heck, that's a good way to make a living and retire.
Yeah, but it's been going on there for a few, I think at least a couple of decades, where it's been legal and taxable in Australia and New Zealand. I was wondering if there's any, like, I mean, I'm sure by now there's some retired prostitutes. I mean, did they have families? Is there something they even care about? Or I don't know. It must be some kind of study. They study everything else.
I mean, I think it's a weird one because it's based on who you associate with. Because right now we do have a big culture in America, at least, where we almost hold porn stars into celebrity level. People don't look down upon porn stars. Have you noticed that? I mean, it's
well, younger people, but they do have like a tough life. I mean,
yeah.
After that's all over with, there's some kind of self-esteem issues. I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know what's associated with
yeah,
that.
But I'm saying the stigma that society puts upon them isn't as big as if someone just said straight out, yeah, I'm a prostitute. But you say you're a porn star, they're like, oh, you're a porn star. That's interesting. But if they say, who's
the most successful former porn star that you can recall? I mean, Stormy Daniels is like a notorious person. She's not really former, but like,
wasn't there a college gal that made a lot of headlines like a couple years ago in University of Charlotte or something?
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah,
they're like, hey, it's like this.
Darn Daniels.
I don't know. It was just a lot of hoopla over it, and I was like, it's for her. It was her way of paying through college, right? And who's gonna stop someone from paying their way through college? It's not like she's not going to college and just using whatever money she has to go party all the time. She's actually using it for an education.
I do recall a couple of incidences where like this is back in the early 2000s or something, where a person was discovered as being a porn star, and that one was a teacher and one was a tennis instructor, and the teacher was never allowed to teach again. They got fired, and the tennis instructor was fired from the country club. The teacher was a woman, and then the tennis instructor was a male porn star, and that was back in like 2006 or 7ish. It was like a little blurb I remember reading. Like, oh, okay, so it's kind of stupid. I mean, I guess it's kind of weird that you're a porn star. You want to become a teacher. I mean, but hey,
maybe he's teaching people how to be a porn star. I mean,
it was a woman, but in retrospect, you look and the rash of these women having sex with kids. I mean, that's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't remember. Maybe nobody squealed. I don't. Nobody talking about it when I was growing up. That yeah, the teacher did this to me. But it seems like it started with that one case.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like it's like oh, well, if he did, I don't know how it spread this way, but. I mean, that right now, that guy's like 34 years old. That first case where the woman went away to prison and they had like 4 kids together.
I wonder if
after she got out. I forgot her name.
I know you're talking. It actually happened in Washington State. And,
yeah, he was like Filipino or something like that, and you know, yeah,
they got married and they had a kid, right?
They had like kids.
They had kids. Okay,
kids.
Yeah,
and she had kids with her husband before.
Wow.
Because she was married. I don't know who she was. She was a blonde, but that guy's an adult now. He's like 33. I mean, what happens if one of his kids starts, you know, hanging out with the teacher? I mean, what's he got to say?
He's like, okay. Yeah, I guess that is tough.
I gotta go to sleep now.
All right. Good night,
Aw.
Christian.
Night,
Thanks for
Christian.
coming on.
Take care.
I'll see you all later.
You got send me DMs or something of superheroes or posters you want to print out as well.
Oh no,
Cool.
Ebon, don't
Will
worry
do.
about it, man. Don't worry about it, man.
All right.
Did you send out the other stuff already?
No, not yet. I want to print out a
Okay.
few more stuff for you. So
You're the man, brother. Thank you so much.
no problem. All right. Good night.
All right, guys. Good night.
Night. Take care. We love you. Take care.
Mm-hmm.
Love you too,
Good
guys.
luck. Good luck with Catalonia. And
You and
Man,
your
that's
smart
fun.
aleckness, Dave. Oh my goodness.
no, I really do. I mean,
yeah,
I'm
I
really
know. Just the tone that
watching
you.
this. I'm watching this stuff on these Google people talking about how they're going to allow this and that, and that's not an example of nationalism, and that they were trying to stomp out. They said we're going to get rid of this nationalism. I mean, crap. I mean, that's like the motherland to me. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I know what's gone on in Spain, and they were autonomous, and they want to become a country. Let them become a freaking country.
Yeah.
I don't care.
What are your thoughts about states in the United States that want to
Good luck.
secede?
Good luck. That's all I gotta say. It's like, okay, I put it in this terms. Okay, if you think that you're a part of this gang called the 50 states, and and you're upset about how this gang of 50 states has gone around and we're imperialists, and now you're going to leave the gang and you're going to be a sheep off away from the herd. Well, good luck. I mean, you think that the terrorists or whoever else is going to go after you are, oh, well, we're not going to mess with California or whomever because they broke off from the United States. I don't think so. So good luck. I said, if you want to do it, good luck to you and you're on your own. I mean, you got to defend yourself. You got to negotiate your own trade deals. You got to control your immigration. Are you not going to let people from Nevada go into California? What's going to go on? I mean, you're not going to let people in Washington State go into California or Portland. I mean, it's a nice thing to say. It's a little different to when it's actually running it. And I say, good luck if you want to do it. Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I think individual states aren't going to be able to do it alone. And I think that's why they, especially with the first Civil War, is they try to find other states that would go in and form their own nation, or more like states that kind of combine together to form a union when necessary to fight against the other union. So
they're so
if we
fractured and balkanized. I mean, I don't see how they do it.
I mean, if there's 20 states, that's almost enough to
Did you read the statistic today that California still has the most people living in poverty of any of the states? And this is supposed to be this utopia of socialist or whatever. I mean, they put themselves out as an example.
Mhm.
If they have more people living in poverty and more homeless people with jobs working 40 hours a week than any state in the union because of the outrageous amount of discrepancy between poor and rich. It's just, yeah, whatever. Go ahead and handle that on your own then. Do it. I want to see you solve that problem. Go ahead.
There's also, I know Florida and Texas. And
Texas is never going to do anything. I live in Texas. They talk a lot of shit.
Yeah, they do. I've never heard Arizona in a talk, but it seems to be California, Texas, and Florida. I mean, it's only 3 states. I don't really hear of any other states that really talk about leaving.
Well, California is now going off with the new California. They want to divide it into 4 separate states. And it's like, dude, I mean, if they have problems with their government, where the extent where there's 19% of the people are living below the poverty level, and they have the most populous state, which is 19% of, how many people have 50 million now, or 40 million people live in California?
I don't know.
That's a shitload of people.
Yeah.
It's a lot and that's not including undocumented workers, and they're not living well. I mean, it's a problem. I mean, it's just, I remember my cousins, California back in the 70s and the 80s. It was a prosperous state where you can get a free education up to like junior college. That was like something that was started by a Republican governor in the 60s, where you get the that thing. But I mean, now they can't do it. I mean, you can't pay for everybody if you're letting people come in from over the border like they have for the last 30 years. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I feel bad. My cousins they all moved here. They moved back to Texas. They all got, or they want to move back to Texas.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of parts in California are super expensive. Just look at San Francisco.
Yeah.
And you've got droughts that happened over a couple of years ago that lasted a long.
Well, the
long
droughts
time.
specifically was because they were environmentally wanting to get rid of their aqueducts and their dams because they wanted to let the rivers go back to normal. So what are you doing if you're getting rid of your water supply over environmental stuff? That's what they did.
Yeah.
They had, dams for basically drinking water, and then the environmentalists came in and said, well, we can't have it. We want to have have the rivers run like they were before, and then you run out of water. I mean, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they didn't plan out too well. I mean, they
planned out well enough that they could build that society where they met these levees and dams, and they were able to catch rainwater and run off from the mountains in the reservoirs, and then you get rid of them because of environmental stuff. I mean, you can't have 40 million people living in a desert. It's a freaking desert everywhere south of Sacramento.
Yeah,
it's just
I mean, in New England, they did dam up a couple of rivers, but not like the main source. There'd be at least one big river flow from the ocean to inland as much as possible. But of course, there's a lot of dams made, and that's why there's a lot of this Atlantic salmon run doesn't really happen anymore, and that sucks because that would be awesome. But there's still herring runs and a couple of other runs that happen, but they can't.
We got to drink water. I mean, it's either going to start doing stuff like Logan's Run, where you go to Carousel and you turn 30 and you shoot you, or they turn your body into food. Mm-hmm. Some robot catches you and runs you to food. It can't be everything. It's just it's just population.
But I think there's enough water for everyone. I think there's definitely ways to get it and convert it and not poison the current water that we have. And because I mean the river systems are huge. I mean it's fresh water. It's not salt water. Except we can't drink it because there's so many chemicals in it. We have to treat it, and then
they can clean it up. Ebon, you're in the military. They can go and military and find some dirty ass water, clean it up, and it's good water.
Yeah,
you're in the Navy. It turns seawater into water.
Yep. But of course, we're on a nuclear aircraft carrier, so that's a little bit easier to do. But yeah, they could. Go ahead.
But I'm saying, nuclear aircraft carrier. My mistake. I kind of gurgled. I wasn't really going to say anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to do it. There's ways to do it cheap. There's ways to do it in mass. But every time you hear it from a news media or a news source, or even a journalistic source, for like what do you call it? They're not magazines, like magazines, and they'll say no, it's too costly. It costs too much, and a lot of the costs are due to like the government's cost. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna need the government's help, and it's gonna cost like $500 billion.
But you pay for your water everywhere you go. Water's not free.
Yep.
If I get water out of my tap, it's because I pay for it.
Yep.
Right?
Pay for
I'm
the
paying
city
a utility for them to give me water.
Unless you build your own well, and as long as
you can do that here in Texas, and I have family members who do that because they can get property out here, and you can just dig your well, and then you can clean it up the way you want to clean it, right?
Yep.
So
we still clean it up the way we want to clean it too. I mean, we've got a 5-stage reverse osmosis filter. I mean, most people would go, why are you even doing that? I mean, the water's good. Fluoride's good for your teeth.
No, it's not.
I know, that's what they're saying.
Fluoride makes you retarded.
Yeah, I know.
Think about it.
I'm just saying, this is what they're saying. They're saying the fluoride's good for your teeth. The rust is giving you extra minerals, and they'll make excuses saying, hey, this stuff is good for you, but they don't talk about the bad parts in tap water. And
I mean,
they want to sell you a narrative, though. Like, oh, this water is going to do this. Oh, in reality, we can't tell you what it is because you're going to really gonna hate us.
By these municipalities and how they're going to get water to people. And it always seems like it's a scheme to make money for some I don't know. It's just like if you buy land here, we're going to route the water here and you make money. Man, I hate government sometimes. I mean, I really
so
want to become.
You're not in the anarchist movement yet?
No,
you're still.
It's just like I could never do that. It's just not in my nature to become an anarchist. It's just.
So are you more? So I don't know. Are you in any political field?
I've voted for both parties, and I voted for independent people.
Mm-hmm.
But you know who my congressman is? And I live in Houston. I lived in Houston. I moved away from there, but I'm still living in Houston. But I don't live in that area anymore. It's a guy called Al Green, and I wonder why he's elected, because he has a name after a freaking a pop singer, mm-hmm. or they know what he even does. They keep sending me emails because I voted in 2008 for Obama, and he was there, and I was in Houston. I haven't voted Democrat ever since, but I still get emails, and I don't get myself off the email list because I like to keep track of what they're telling people in the emails, right? And I get the emails. Remember, I get emails from other stuff, and and I guess somewhere in between be the truth. But I look at the guy, and I look at his voting record. I look at the district I was in. I mean, what has he been doing for those people over there? Is it because he's Al Green? Like in Texas, they elected a person named Jesse James because his name was Jesse James. It's famous. They teach you in civics course. Oh, this guy became, and it wasn't just, he was the comptroller. He wasn't any other. The comptroller's in control of the money, Mm-hmm. So why are you electing a guy called Jesse James to be in control of the budget of the state of Texas? And you'll be surprised, he embezzled money. I mean, it's.
I mean,
so stupid.
Yeah, you're a smart guy. I see.
I'm all right. I'm above average. But they told me I'm smart. And when you get older, being smart really isn't good for you anymore. Like when you're like a little kid. Oh yeah, you got good test scores, and you go to college. Oh yeah, and then when you get older, it's like, yeah, you're just a smart ass.
Yeah. Do you give up on family and friends who?
No, I have family and friends. I mean, my brother is kind of he went to the military before me out of high school. I didn't go till later, and he became like staunchly conservative, and I really kind of ignored him, and I consider myself independent, more kind of liberal, but the way things go, it's just like they're going too far with what they're doing, and it's like it's something different. It's like communism. It's not like what I would consider when you're trying to control people's speech and how they, come up with these ideas of hate speech and other things like that. It's just too far. And if you're protesting wearing masks, you're a terrorist. You're not a protester. You're not. And if you're LARPing, I don't get it. I mean, it's a different generation, but I don't see why you're doing with that. I mean, in what world do you think it's cool to dress up in a mask and beat another human being? There's nothing called for that in this society that you feel compelled to go and beat up another human being.
Yeah, I mean,
it's stupid.
It's one thing to wear masks to protest against a government, and an authoritarian type of government or totalitarian, whichever.
But what happened to sit-ins? What happened to locking yourself to a tree? Yeah. What happened to civil disobedience instead of rioting?
But it's like what these I guess we could go out and say Antifa. What a lot of Antifa are doing, they're wearing masks to protest against the people who are protesting against the government. That's backwards to me.
It's whatever it is. It's ruining real protests, and they're getting the attention. And I don't see how you're as a person. I don't know. I'm older than these kids. Like, you're 20 years old. You're 25 years old. You're 18 years old, and you think it's cool or okay that you were raised in this world that you're gonna put on a mask and go attack a person for their thoughts and their speech. I don't understand it. I can't fathom it. I can't. Well, I don't understand who those people's parents were. I don't understand what world they grew up in where they think it's okay. I grew up and I've been in fights. Mm-hmm. And the one thing you learn when you're really in fights, like, oh yeah, this guy got mad, or you went out to a bar, got in a bar fight. Nobody wins in a fight. Somebody just gets hurt less than the other person or gives up. You get in a fight, you get hurt. But it's some kind of role play with them. I don't know when you learn this stuff. I remember kids, you know, like you go to school and you hear like you know, after school. I didn't go to public school, but you know, the public school is nearby, and kids like, oh, you're gonna have a fight in the park. And they're coming home, and these kids gather around, and then you two people were gonna fight, and people gather around and watch the fight. But even from watching that, you go, you know, I don't want to be doing that. Yeah. You know, you know, there's some kind of, but they have like a total lack of empathy for that. They're gonna go hit somebody in the head with a bike lock or with a bat, or talk about getting guns and shooting people. It's just bizarre. And I don't know if it's generational or what, because that kid playing a Madden football game in a competition killed people because he was mad he lost. That would happen like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I just don't understand. There's something, I don't know if it's a big pharma or how they're being raised. I talked to a guy because, you know, I'm here in Texas, and he grew up in the hill country or in South Texas, and it's like a rural area. So my grandparents were farmers. His parents were farmers. And, you know, when you have like a bad crop, you know, like, oh, the crop didn't come in, the farmer tills it over. And I'm thinking, this is just a bad crop of human beings. If they're producing this much chaos in every aspect of life, that they respond to stupid shit on Twitter, you know, which is tantamount to shit posting in a bathroom. It's the same thing. If you went to a bathroom and somebody was writing graffiti, oh, so and so, it's the same thing going on Twitter. How that makes you get so riled up that you got to go attack another human being. And then a lot of these people that I talk to who are doing this, I go, if 9/11 happened today, like right now, and Freedom Tower blew up, would you be willing to go, you know, and you know who it was, definitely. I say the Russians did it, okay? The Russians blew up Freedom Tower. Well, are you going to enlist in the military? Because you're being attacked by the Russians. No, I don't believe in war, man. It's just not like my thing. I go, really? So you just, nah, man. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, really? We're screwed. I mean, the more I think about it, we're just screwed. I mean, I don't know what happened to these kids. They were over-medicated, coddled. They weren't raised correctly. And the bad part about it, it's my generation who raised these little simps that are doing this. I never had kids. Maybe they're a little bit older than me, but what the fuck? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't.
He was talking about how kids should be like, more kids should get into wrestling and stuff instead of Ritalin. I thought it was pretty good.
Well, they should be doing something. They can't be. I mean, they took out. As far as I know, they took out physical education from most public school systems because of the cost. That's not how it used to be. I mean,
I've noticed lately a lot of public schools, they have to raise money for certain sports, or certain programs.
Or even band. Like you can go to band and do that. It's like what's going on, and it's bizarre. It's just like it's not the world that I grew up in. I don't know if it's social engineering. I mean, they're spending more now on school than ever before, and the kid can't go to a class. One class out of the, I don't know, they're there for 7 hours where they do something that they might like band or fucking art or fucking riding or even lifting fucking weights. Just go lift some weights.
Yeah.
This is weird, dude. We're just asking for it, and nobody seems to have a idea of. They don't see that people in power don't seem to be aware that how jacked up things are. I just don't get it. It's like
I don't think they. Well, they don't have real power, but I don't think they care just because they don't. They're psychopaths.
Like
really.
I have a friend who was a public school teacher for the last 10 years. He was a good public school teacher, and he doesn't want to teach anymore. And he's a Latino male, and he doesn't want to teach anymore because of all the crap about it. He's moving off to do something else. He's getting his master's degree in something else.
Yeah.
It's like
that's
dude.
That's sad.
And he was teaching, and he taught in the Latino area of Houston because he wanted to get back to where he grew up, and he was living in a better area of Houston. And he just couldn't put up with that school district, the underfunding, and whatever was going on. He just couldn't, the politics of it. And he's getting out of teaching. And he's only 42.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know whoever's going to put up with that stuff. I mean, who are they teaching? I mean, it's just bizarre. I mean, I look at it from that when I have my views. I mean, it's not from nothing. Like my friend that I've known for 15 years has been doing this, and he went to the war. He went off. He served. That's why he didn't start teaching late. Jesus Christ, I just don't get it, man. And then to see that thing that Google, they're going to tell us how to live our lives.
Yeah, we're gonna have AI masters. We'll have AI telling us how to live. We'll have robots telling us how to live.
Did you watch that Elon Musk thing where he was worried about AI? Like he's talking about, like he's Sarah Connor and he's talking about Judgment Day on Joe Rogan. How can anybody fall for this charlatan that he has a weird way of speaking? And then he's talking like, why don't you call him a nut? He's talking about he had a bunch of these weird statements he made, and he's somehow become a folk hero of this. Like he's Tony Stark.
I didn't like the launching the car into space thing right away. I thought that was wasteful and kind of like too elaborate of a ploy of like a publicity stunt. But I was talking to Snork about it, and he's a very educated person, really understands a lot, and he's an engineer. And I was kind of downplaying Elon Musk, saying that the landing a rocket on a barge, why don't you build a specialized like landing pad or something, or why not just like negotiate somewhere to launch from the ground? It's like way too elaborate. And I was talking shit about the boring the tunnel. Like I was saying, you could just my stupid ideas like narrow.
The tunnel thing is they've had them forever. They call them subways, and I don't see how that's even getting. Or I don't see how that's.
I just want to say though that Snork was saying that it was really remarkable that he was able to land rockets within like a few inches of, or a few feet or something, like within a foot of a error, or like that's that kind of precision.
Yeah, but does Snork know that NASA already developed a better system in the 70s when they're doing the shuttle program that's been totally mothballed, and they're trying to go back to old rocket technology? Does Snork talk about that? That's already been researched and money was spent to understand how to make better rockets, and they just totally abandoned it, and they've gone back to old technology, and he's not really doing anything that's innovative that now that they innovated in the 70s. Does Snork talk about that? I mean, it's all for a dog and pony show, but we were as taxpayers, we were as taxpayers giving money to NASA for the space program, and they have a better VTOL rocket system that they developed in the 70s that they just completely abandoned. And how many billions of dollars was spent in that? And now we're going back to some dude who's a private enterprise who's trying to become rich off of sending people into space, and he launched a car, and we're supposed to say, yeah, cool. And you know what? They put men on the moon. Hey, he launched a car into space, but they put men on the moon in 1968. You know that happened, right? That was 50 years ago going on. So he launched the car into space, but they sent 7 teams of people to the moon and back in the 60s and early 70s. Man, we're supposed to be wowee.
10 times.
He put a car
10 times
space
in a row without a hitch.
Yeah. So we're supposed to be wowing about this guy launching a car into space as a publicity stunt. You're being fucked with. You know? It's like I can't see it any other way. We're just being fucked with.
Yeah.
I think he's all right. I think he thinks differently. The way he goes up and makes his presentations about car production and looking at it on a macro perspective of like how many cars are produced, and this is some path towards.
Well, we'll see. It's already been I don't know. I've been trying to kind of following Tesla. I'm in some forum where this girl's a real big Elon Musk fanboy, and there's been like a backlash against it because all these things keep happening with the Tesla cars. It seems like to me like a lot of people cancel their orders. Maybe the orders are never taken.
What happened?
They produce all these cars.
A lot of things happening with the Tesla cars. What is happening?
They had them out in the desert, just sitting there for months. They're not going to customers. So if people pre-order these like they said they did, and the reason they produce these cars at this pace that they say they're going to make this pace where they're getting, I don't know the figure, but I think it's 20,000 cars a month they're going to make, and you have nobody taking delivery of these cars, then there's something wrong. Ford Motors doesn't make cars to go sit on a lot in the middle of the desert or in various airports where they can pay for parking. Customers should be taking possession of the cars they pre-ordered. So either they never got the cars, the pre-orders were fake, or the customers have canceled and they got extra cars that they haven't delivered to customers. And this new fucking little tiny affordable thing. And at the end of the day, Tesla is rich people getting subsidies to drive cars. And so poor people are paying for rich people to freaking buy expensive cars. And that's the end all be all of it. You have to be in a certain income thing to even afford to buy. And you're trying to get a discount from the government. All the poor people in California who are below the poverty level who pay taxes are subsidizing some rich mother effer to get a freaking Tesla car so he can feel great about him being a person who's green. And we all know that the batteries are like toxic waste. Lithium ion is not something you want to stockpile on your freaking planet if you're trying to be so green. That's the facts of it, Ben. It's not any other way. You can make.
Okay, so there's cars in the desert somewhere that you can cite for months. That's not really a close the case.
Oh God, Ben, I don't want to really. I don't want to. I mean, I appreciate you're trying to get into this. These are facts, Ben. I'm not going to distribute facts because you weren't aware of the facts. It's out there. Okay. The stories have been out there and they're embedded. I'm not bullshitting you about anything. If you really want to get into Ben, okay, Ben, I'm asking you a question. Am I wrong when I say that Tesla Motors? They're being subsidized by the government, and that means that rich people are getting a subsidy from the government paid by mostly poor people to get cars that are for rich people. That's a fact. It's not a people's car.
So the cars I guess you were citing earlier were the newest model of like Tesla, which was he said all along was supposed to be more affordable and more accessible. That's been the model and the plan all along.
Oh God, I don't know. You can talk, Ben. You can talk, Ben. I'm not trying to belittle you, dude. But go ahead and talk. I'll just mute myself.
I mean, the base model is $35,000 now.
Are you gonna buy one, Ben?
I mean, I feel like $35,000 is somewhat comparable to like like a newer car, like a newer Toyota Camry or something.
How are the refueling? Do they have refueling stations, or is that all throughout home now still? Do you know anything about that?
I saw 2 Teslas today when I walked a half a mile. And there's charging stations in downtown Hillsboro just like right on the street. It's pretty sweet. There's charging stations at the grocery stores. It's definitely growing.
Do you know what type of electricity that those charging stations use? Is it gas, natural gas? Is it coal?
Right. What goes to make the energy? Right.
Yeah.
It's important.
Anyways, it's yeah, I always thought instead of because when I last looked, and that was maybe a decade ago, it was a long time. I think the cost of a Tesla was something like $200,000, and the waiting list was huge. I didn't know it was like $35,000 now. Does it still go like to 0 to 50 in like 1.6 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, you got like I looked into it, and it's like 35,000 to start. Then it's like an extra 5,000 for partial navigation, or an extra 5,000 for full navigation, or whatever it is, like extra 5,000 or 10,000.
Wow, you're right up to $40,000.
Oh no, yeah. If you want it all, like if you want it all in the cheap model, it's going to be 50,000. It's retarded. It's still expensive. Still too expensive, I guess, a little bit. But yeah, the original Roadster thing was probably the $200,000 model. Then it was like 70,000 for several years. But I am not against subsidizing green energy, even if it is something that people are spending $50,000 or $70,000 on. I'm not against subsidizing that. It makes the roads, it makes the air cleaner, healthier.
Okay, the roads are, Tesla cars are like an order of magnitude of 3 as far as weight and damage they do to the roads because of how heavy a lithium-ion battery is, right, Ben?
Would you rather?
When China burns natural gas, the extraction of natural gas isn't very clean. But around Beijing,
but are you aware of the extra wear and tear on the road that cars would cause?
Same with the natural gas burning vehicles.
Eric, go ahead.
Oh, I said I was actually gonna head on out.
Okay.
So.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Oh, it's okay.
Thanks for stopping in, Eric.
No problem. Love you guys. Have a good night. Take care, and I'll email you the picture, Ebon.
Sure.
All right. Good. Take care. Love you guys. Have a good one.
I mean, it's going.
So, what were your thoughts on the Hummer, David, with George W. Bush as president, where he gives tax write-offs to people who own vehicles?
Stupid. That was stupid. What do you mean? It's stupid to give tax write-offs to the Hummer, which is a military vehicle developed from, and it's for rich people too. Mm-hmm. You know what? They don't make them anymore, do they?
I didn't know. They stopped making Hummers?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Maybe they started back up again, but they stopped that company went out of business. Any Hummer you see is an old Hummer, but they're military grade. That's why they're still around.
Yeah.
And you can get parts because they still make them you can get replacement parts because the military still, uses them. We still use them, I'm not in anymore, but Hummers are being used in the military all the time.
Which branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Army.
What did you think of that? Your time in the Army? Was it 4 years? 8 years?
It was 5.
5. Okay. What tech field were you in, or were you just?
I was a medic.
Medic. Okay.
I wanted to be. I didn't want to fight anybody or kill anybody, so that's what I chose to do.
Were you stationed?
I think it's an honorable way of serving your country.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to fight somebody, then you go help people who are shot.
Yeah.
So.
Were you deployed anywhere?
Yeah, I was deployed in the beginning of the stuff, and then after that, I was in El Paso, actually deploying troops.
Okay. Did you like the experience in the Army?
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I liked the experience in the Navy.
It's a lot of people who are doing their job,
What did you think about the people in charge?
They were following orders. You follow orders. I don't think anything in people in charge. It was just not sergeant majors or lieutenants or captains or majors or colonels. Platoon sergeants. You deal with your platoon sergeant if you're enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
The platoon sergeant deals with the lieutenant, but and if you're over there, it's 24/7. And when you come back and you're in a at base, and yeah, it's like a job. You go, well, not really, but it's mostly like a job. You go, you have time off, you can do your own stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. So if you're ordered to help out during a battle situation to pick up your rifle and to engage in combat, would you, or would you disobey your
I guess
order?
I'd have to, yeah, but it never happened that way. That's not how it happened.
Yeah.
No, it never happened that way. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to defend myself. I'm not gonna sit there and get myself killed.
I mean, of course, defensive is something different. But if you're attacking a village,
if you're there, you're there to first of all, I'm not gonna die. I don't want to die. I mean, that's not the thing. I mean, first of all, I mean, I like to help other people, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit there and be a pacifist to the point where I'm gonna let somebody shoot me because they're trying to kill you.
Well, yeah.
And people were killed, and it was not just them; it was all the other people. It got hairy, and a lot of the people who were being treated are people who were being terrorized by their own people with various bullshit, But
did you think there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq?
Nobody thought there was weapons of mass destruction in freaking Iraq. We knew that ahead of time. I mean, I remember seeing the State of the Union in 2003, or yeah, it was 2003 because I went 2001. 2001, I went in and I got out. In 2002, I got out of training, and then so it was 2003 where George Bush is talking about weapons of mass destruction, and they already been in Afghanistan, and it was very small. The deployment was a very small deployment in Afghanistan, but now we got to go to Iraq, right? And everybody's talking about how this was bullshit. Everybody, lieutenants, captains, majors, all said it was bullshit, but you got to follow the orders.
Yeah.
Because they heard from somebody, I'm assuming, that it was bullshit. And it spreads out, but they knew it was bullshit, but you got to follow orders. And they went in there, and I guess I wasn't part of it, but I guess everybody's earnestly looking for weapons of mass destruction. I guess now the story is that they went to Syria, which is bullshit. So, yeah. So whatever, man. I mean, you do your duty, but that's what you're there to do. I mean, if we really wanted to get after the people who blew up the towers, we would have invaded Saudi Arabia, but we don't do that, right?
Or on the other hand, they're saying Israel is the one that set up with the security firms and whatnot.
Who knows? Well, I don't know about that. I do know that if you go to, I know people who are, they got rid of, they get out of the military and they start working as contractors, and they go back and they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because they paid a ton of money. And I first started encountering the contractors when I started processing soldiers, because we weren't just processing soldiers, we were processing contractors going over to Iraq too. And they were telling you how much they make.
Yep.
And one of the things that they always tell us is like, oh yeah, if you're going to Saudi Arabia, and these like firemen were going over there, right, to get high paying jobs. Oh yeah, but you cannot go and to visit Israel, or you will never be allowed back into Saudi Arabia. If they stamp your passport from Saudi Arabia to Israel, this is back then. I don't know, maybe it's still the same. They're not going to let you back in. Just visiting Israel. That's a lot of hate. I mean, come on. You don't want somebody to visit Israel because they think I'm not. But then again, I mean, people that I know who were contractors are fully aware about. They chop people's heads off in Saudi Arabia for all. They publicly execute people with sabers. And it finally got to the internet, but this is like, you're hearing stories about this in 2005 and 2006. Yeah, they do that shit. They chop off people's heads for adultery or for whatever freaking thing they think. It's a pretty savage, and this is the one thing take away. It's medieval people that we're dealing with specifically in the Middle East. They have a medieval mentality, and I cannot deny that. It's like we went to medieval time. Like you ever been to medieval times? It's no bullshit over there. They're doing that stuff like for real.
Why do you think it's
just
so?
everyday life?
Why do you think the Islamic religion is so different in the Middle East as compared to Asia? Why is this?
Because they're medieval people. Because they were medieval. It came from the Saudi Arabian Peninsula. Those people were they were not up with the times. I don't care what you say about how people say, oh yeah, well, the Muslims preserved the writing and they preserve. No, I think those are people they were subjugated to, like maybe Jews and maybe Greeks and maybe some who are preserving algebra. But the people who they're Bedouin people who came up with this religion, herders and people living out in the desert, and were just nomadic people. And so that's the mentality that the perspective of the religion of any other thing. Okay, we'll look at if you look at Christianity, it's perspective growing out of the middle of the Roman Empire is considered the Pax Romana, and there's an enlightened period. That's when that Christianity came from. Judaism kind of from the heights of the Egyptian empire. There's some kind of enlightenment going on there. You go to Hindi and Buddhism, and over there, those were the heights of those ancient civilizations. That's not where Islam comes from. It comes from Bedouin tribal people who are running around in the middle of the desert, who believed in I don't know what they believed in before, but then they went to Persia and they converted everybody there, and it's called Iran now, right? Mm-hmm. Most of the people there are already monotheistic, and they had a religion that was more spiritual, but they converted all those people. I think it's called Zoroastrianism or something. That was a monotheistic religion that goes back past to Egyptian times, where they believed in one freaking God, and it was not like this thing, but they conquered them because they killed people. You convert or you don't become those people. Freddie Mercury was part of that religion. They went all over the place. They killed Christians in Egypt. They killed. That's what they do.
But what about some of the more secular rules of certain?
If you look at Asia, Asia is ancient. You go back to the Chinese; they're 5,000 years old. There's the civilization. They have a secular look towards everything. So, as them being the hegemony of the whole situation, I suppose I can conjecture that the influence of that one gigantic, non-ending civilization of 5,000 years kind of makes people more pragmatic and more secular in their approach to religion. Okay, so that's why if that religion goes over there, it's more secular and more pragmatic than the dogma.
Actually, Confucianism was already secular and basically not based on superstition. The Judaism also had its roots in shepherds, people out in the wandering around, being nomadic, and Christianity Rome didn't convert to Christianity until 300, just 150 years before it fell. The Pax Romana that you referred to ended in 220.
Oh my God, Ben! What do you want to argue? You say these things and you're like non sequiturs. You're not making a sentence. Make a sentence, Ben.
Islam
make a sentence, Ben. Make a sentence, Ben.
Let him go.
And actually, so the heights and the greatest achievements of that world, the Middle East or whatever.
Oh, I don't know, Ben. Tell me. You're supposed to tell me.
900 and
is not a. Is not a thought, Ben.
900, like 900, 1,000, 12 to 1,200.
This is what the example I've been talking about. The dead crop.
No.
I'm sorry, Ben. It's like a dead crop. You came here and you're not going to get me on what you know. You're
the one that last time you were on here, you said that you already read the Black History. So you've already read all of Black history and you know everything about it. Now you're telling us what history is and what.
All right, okay, let me argue. Okay, I'm trying to get a point out of you, Ben. Stop, Ben. Ben, if you want to debate me on a point, Ben. Okay, take it point by point. Take it point by point, Ben. Take it point by point. Now, are you denying the fact that at the time that the Jews were living in with the Egyptians, that the Egyptians were not the height of civilization and enlightenment in the known world? Is that a fact or not?
No, I said what I said was that the origins of the religion date back to when they were just shepherds.
Oh God. Okay, but you're saying that the origin of the religion had nothing to do, because you've read the Torah and you know your Bible, that they had nothing to do with their time of suffrage in Egypt. The origins of their religion. You're going back to Moses, is what you're talking about. Is that's what you're talking about? The origin of the religion with Moses, not with Moses, with Noah. No. You're going back to Noah and the Nephilim and all that other stuff. Is that what you're talking about? You're going back to that type of stuff.
Okay, Dave, let Ben go. Go ahead, Ben.
No, with Abraham. That's right. Yeah.
God, fuck you, Ben. You know. You're just a little twat, and I think you should just be fucking plowed under the world because you're useless.
All right, we don't do that here, David. Sorry, not sorry, but you know, we can't talk to each other when we're always calling each other names and whatnot. It doesn't matter if you're right; you're just doing it wrong.
It's just like I can't. I guess he didn't want to be contradicted. Is all.
No, it's I can see his point. He just wants to engage in a dialogue of ideas, not just I don't know what I would call it.
I feel like he cut himself off from that engaging in that dialogue, because I wasn't cutting anything off. I'm clarifying and actually pointing out that Confucianism was a secular religion, and you know, in the timelines, the inconsistencies in his timeline, I would feel like I was doing a bad job of, like, I mean, I would feel like I was doing something wrong if I sat here and like heard these discrepancies and these generalizations and things and didn't like kind of correct them and point out
that's good.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like there was still plenty of room to have a dialogue and discuss whatever issues. I'm interested about history very much. Love talking about it. So I mean, I didn't like intentionally try to trigger the dude. I just basically was pointing out.
Yeah, I didn't see any
not exactly like he described it, portrayed it.
I didn't see any difference than what you normally do, Ben. So Confucianism, let's go there, because when I read up on Confucius, I like a lot of the things he says, and some people state that even Buddhism is a non-religion, and why do I never engaged in that dialogue as to why they think that.
Because there's it depends how you classify and think of religion. You know, from our Western standpoint and the eyes of the lenses of like Christianity and the religions we're more familiar with, like Judaism or whatever. Like these religions, you know, have their own construct of angels and heaven and you know, sins and things like that. So Buddhism doesn't have that as much, but it has its own constructs, and there were different phases and types of, like, you know, Buddhism that got more like superstitious, more into chants, more about ancestor worship, more about like, you know, having you know, Buddhas, all the different Buddhas, and chanting to Buddha, lighting incense for Buddha, and thinking that that's going to bring good luck and things. So like, but I think that Buddhism is a more sterile religion than Christianity, in the sense of like it's settled down from some of the superstition that the trapping. But I think there's like superstitious trappings yet in Buddhism. But Confucianism is very, very secular. It's just doesn't mean anything except for studying the classics, studying what Confucius said, and having good calligraphy and memorizing, you know, what Confucius said, and memorizing what Mencius said, and memorizing some different famous poems and things like that. There was no worship. There was no really religious overtone to it. So sometimes actually I hear people talk about Confucianism as a religion, and I always like object to that. I think Buddhism's less of it. Yeah, it just depends how you look at it. What comparative, you know, theology and religion. And I never studied too much of that, fortunately. I never even had a single theology class.
Okay.
But I did read a book about Confucius once, and I basically, it's been part. I've learned a bit surrounding it, Confucianism, just through studying Chinese and being around and reading. And I've read Confucius. So,
do you think because there's the Chinese language, the different Chinese languages. I mean, they're all based off of characters different than our characters. I mean, their characters symbolizes entire meanings rather than in written form. I don't know how to explain it.
are you talking about the Korean? What is it called? Are you talking about in the alphabet? Are you talking about English?
No, I'm talking about.
Sorry.
The written form. So written form in a lot of Western cultures is written out with phonetics and alphabets, and these words can are pretty specific and not too detailed. When you start getting to other types of communication of written forms, it's almost as though one single character can dictate entire meanings of what they are, what they do, and how they interact with the world, and it's just that. So do you recognize that as something very different, hi Ryan, and useful from an English speaking and writing person who's studying Chinese?
That's a great question. That's a great line of questioning. What's up, Ryan?
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, let me just totally deflect it and just shoot you, Ryan. No, I'm joking. No, I like to answer. I like to talk about that a little bit. It's just, I think it's complicated. It's more interesting to me than I would see that any way that it would be useful. I think it's like proprietary, and all the cultures of the world. At one point, you weren't going to touch the text. You weren't going to have any sort of literate understanding unless you were high up in the ranks. There's just no hope of it, no chance of it. I feel like life these days hardly affords you to like really be able to have as much leisure to anyway. But yeah. So like it's very I think that it makes it harder to learn. You don't have anybody to tell you what that means. You're not going to know what it means. And back in the day in Chinese, there was like one character would have a world of meaning, and it would be like more abstract. It would be more hidden. It would be a lot to it. And it was sort of like, I think it was like a code, but not really like a code, but just that they just knew what they were talking about by the one character's meaning. It would have a deeper meaning or a hidden meaning or something like that. But there's meaning within the character, but there's also meaning within the root word, like the root Latin word, to our words in our language system. So there's like actually it's not like our system lacks that deeper meaning, within the word itself, right? But yeah, no, it's fascinating. It's interesting. It's certainly interesting and very much interesting. I don't know if it's useful, so I don't know how to define that, but it's kind of concise. You can be slightly more concise with Chinese. It takes up less space, and it's just kind of more simple in some ways, I suppose.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of getting back into books sometime soon. It's hard to with all that's going on, and once things get settled, because I like being an academic and reading all the time, and researching. It seems like I'm researching into different things, but I have a feeling that I can't learn a lot of the things that I want to learn, especially in regards to history, until I learn the history of what a lot of these important texts are translated from. I feel as though humans make mistakes. Mostly being in the tech field as a quality assurance engineer, that
some humans make mistakes. Okay. I don't.
Oh yeah, how do you like DLive?
It's shit. DLive sucks.
Anyways, yeah, so I feel as though if I want to learn it and figure it out correctly, I have to do it myself. And it's like, what? Why do I have to do it myself? Someone has got to be an expert who's been an expert for like 25 years, where they could just do that and they understand it. But now at the age of almost 40, I'm gonna have to learn it just so I could see, hey, did someone make a mistake here? Could this have been interpreted as this way? And then someone else is gonna say, no, it's this way because of this. And I go, well, look, this one says it's totally different. And they go, huh, that's interesting. I mean, that's all it takes. And it can, you know, just a certain intonation, a certain word, a certain sentence even can change the entire thing. I mean, just so or
modern Chinese, for example, is really a lot more specific and literal. There's not any problem these days, but it's just going back, and I've been looking at a lot of ancient texts. Oh God, so hard.
Yeah. Anyways, it's interesting. I feel like we're so behind on a lot of things, and like, why are we so behind? And why are certain ancient things where things are supposedly simpler so impossible to understand and figure out in this age where we're creating artificial intelligence? Like, we can create artificial intelligence, but these symbols that are written down thousands of years ago, we got no idea.
I think that's cool that you think like that and look at the world a little bit like that, because a lot of people, I think, feel like there's nothing to really learn from the past. It's just kind of, they were all backward and living in dust and stuff, and they you know, like, I guess I kind of like to look at all the modern things and say, oh, there's still nothing new under the sun. Like, you still have the same principles and natures and things, and like, you know, same kind of dynamics and parameters of your life, but I mean, I just feel like a lot of people just look to the future for all the answers, just like think everything present day is so great and technologically wonderful, and I kind of like really like to want to know the past first before I know everything about today.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Just trying to figure this out. Hey, how did this happen? Okay. Sorry. Something's on
the
DLive.
Future, think everything present day is so great and technologically wonderful.
Yeah, because DLive sucks.
I kind of like really like to want to know the past first before I know everything about today.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about how, let's say. Oops, sorry. Just trying to figure this out. Sorry. Every time I do that, it doesn't mute. There's some bugs in DLive, I will admit, Ryan. Hey, they're getting there. So here's the thing. When I like talking about is stuff like our sewage system. Is our sewage system totally modern and new and different from the sewage system, say, back in the Roman days? Nope, it's exactly the same. We don't really do anything different. And so out of thousands of years, is the sewage system perfected? Can we not think of a better way of handling our sewage?
We have better system. It's called toilets, and toilets are indoors.
How the
in the Roman days
management is handled as far as it.
Yeah, sewage management back in those days would have just been filtered straight into the ocean or the river.
Well, it's doing the same thing now. There are some
not
things
always,
different.
not all. Like in Victoria, it's not allowed. It's got to be treated before it gets let out, and then in Victoria here, it gets put back into the drinking water.
Is it just me, or is everyone's video weird? Maybe it's just my uploads.
It's DLive, dude. Everybody's being fucked up, dude. Everybody on the internet is being messed around with.
That's weird.
No, it's called ISPs fucking gripping everybody's balls. That's what it's called.
It might have to be where we do these non-live and then I just upload them. That kind of sucks. Mm-hmm. I like it. Everything
defeats
live.
The purpose.
Yeah, defeats the purpose.
Defeats the purpose of having a live stream, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. So you think the ISPs are throttling us now?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we could definitely see the difference between our live stream now as compared to our live stream a few days ago.
Mm-hmm. It's happening to. I watched a video of atheist Amazing Atheist, and he's having it. Jimmy Dore. Who else? And there's a few others that I watched that are struggling as well.
That's really weird. I'm gonna do a quick test of my bandwidth. I wonder
They're
how
fucking
they're
assholes,
doing it.
dude.
Because
They just strangle it, dude.
yeah, I'm wondering if they're not strangling the bandwidth that we have. They're just, I think they're strangling it at different chokeholds. For Zoom example would be one, because it shouldn't matter through Zoom, but unless they're strangling everything. But they're obviously right now. Let me stop this and I'll.
So I have a friend who has like a garage door business, and he like has this like part-time garage door business, and he was like really surprised that this garage door company hired him, because like he was like doing the same thing on the side, and they were like, oh, we don't care, and he's like, they're idiots, they're training me to like, take their business from them. But he did it anyway. Now he quit from them, and now he's doing his own business. But do you think that that's why like people don't want to teach each other things so often? Is like it's proprietary, and it's like you work for a company, you only teach certain people like the real skills and all the real inside little tips and knowledges and stuff? Or was that not your point earlier about talking about how you have to go ahead and do it all yourself?
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, some people use the knowledge that they have over others to their own advantage. I mean, if you think about, say, you've come up with a new way of writing code that you could do twice as more with writing twice as less. I mean, people will pay top dollar for you to create software for them. And so why would you teach anyone else to do that when you're going to be the person on top that's getting the majority of the higher salary, because hey, you're the only person that can do it, as opposed to you teaching.
You guard it. You guard it very well.
Yeah. So here, so I'm not being throttled. Here, I gotta add myself again.
It might not be you. It might be YouTube.
Well, the thing is, my upload speed is down a little bit because I am uploading stuff, but it's not that bad. 11.79 megabits per second upload. But it's not YouTube, because where you're being slowed at is through Zoom. But it could be you, and maybe it's not Zoom or me. We would only know if someone else came on camera that didn't have a bad cell phone battery or something like that.
Can you see up in the corner there
Yeah, I noticed that. I was gonna wonder, is that a monitor, or do you have...
I bought a monitor for $45.
Wow.
And I bought a an NVR for the security cameras around my house.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good idea.
So now that one camera keeps playing up.
Could just be a bad connection. Is it all Wi-Fi connected?
Yeah, it's all Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah, that's probably what it is. Are you using 5G for them, or are you using 2.4?
It has to be 2.4.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
No, it's not bad. 2.4, because you'll be able to get more coverage further out. You can have your camera set out further out. They just won't come back as if you probably don't have 1080 cameras. You're probably just typical 480p.
No, they're 1080.
1080.
That could be the problem.
Yeah, I think that is
the NVR that could be the problem.
Yeah. Are you on Wi-Fi right now on your computer and your webcam?
No.
No, it's
no.
Okay. But I bet you if you turn that off, you're it's not the bandwidth capping from the ISPs yet, Ryan, conspiracy theorist.
Could be. Could be. I might have to turn the cameras on to just record when there's activity.
Motion sensors. That's what I use. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry about that. I didn't say that in case the FBI want to go and invade my home illegally. Just kidding. They would if they did that, they would cut off my power anyways.
Yeah.
and my internet and flashbang everything and maybe
Well, is me moving in Zoom okay? Because
you're
no.
doing the max headroom thing.
Yeah, I'm moving my head just so you can see that I'm moving.
Yeah.
It would be silly of me to sit there and go, can you tell if I'm moving?
Yeah. You know it's not happening to me because there's no freezing, so it's not.
No, you're fine. You're coming through fine and I'm going up and back.
Yeah.
So to me it's okay. It must be just going up to, I don't know. If you're seeing me okay in Zoom, then it must be you.
No, I'm not seeing okay in Zoom.
Oh, okay. Then it must be me. I might have to change the settings.
Fine.
Sorry, Ben?
I see you and hear you both fine.
Oh, cool.
But that's through the Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you see Ryan? He doesn't move fast. He doesn't freeze?
Nope. Not on my Zoom.
That's interesting.
But I haven't been paying super good attention. Keep talking, Ryan.
But don't forget, I would be going out to Zoom and back for my Zoom. It wouldn't go just straight from my webcam into the program.
No,
would it?
No, for you see your own webcam image. It doesn't transmit you except for going to us.
Okay.
So it goes to the servers on Zoom, and then Zoom transcodes it to us.
Well, I see you fine. I don't have any. If that was the case, I would have thought it would be more of a download thing than an upload thing. You know, I don't know.
You would use your upload, but for seeing us, you would use we would see you would see the download. So
yeah.
So it would, if it was throttling, it wouldn't affect your download anyway. So it would be your upload. So yeah, you do have a point. It could be.
It's a private network. It wouldn't be going over the internet at all anyway.
You mean Zoom? Zoom's not a private.
No. My cameras.
Oh yeah, your cameras. Yeah, it would be all within your.
Well, I can't see that affecting the internet
unless they're
not uploading anything. I don't upload to anything. I've got a 4 terabyte. I got a 4 terabyte hard drive today, so you know it should be able to record for like 10, 15 days without overthinking itself. And I only record at 720p anyway, so I don't reckon I need 1080.
What type of router do you use?
I use an Asus. I bought a new router.
But what type of Asus model?
I'll have to look it up for you. Hang on.
Okay, so I think I was wrong about when the Rome went Christian by like 100 years. I think it was like 480 actually. Or it was kind of like a transition through like 300s.
I used to have. Sorry, Ben. Yeah, that was my router before I upgraded.
Yeah, we bought this because that's all we could afford at the time. But I'm going to upgrade again.
Yeah.
I'm going to upgrade again, but I'm only going to get a router and attach a router to it because it's just no point buying a whole.
Yeah, I wonder if you I haven't done tests on it, but if your Wi-Fi bandwidth gets capped, that might affect your. It's just I don't know what I would call it.
I understand what you're saying. If the local network's capped, then it could affect my download and upload of content to the internet because the router's also got to deal with the cameras.
Network, yeah.
So that's why I was thinking maybe I need to get another router if I'm going to get more cameras.
Yeah. I mean, you're mostly going to use that in-house and you're going to store it into your hard drive anyway, so you can always just have your own private network, a second router not connected to the internet at all, and do it that way, and that one may not affect you.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And then just I was thinking about, because we're just to the left of me, we've got an air conditioning cavity in the wall. It's about 2.5 to 3 feet wide, squared.
Yeah.
So, and it just goes straight up into the roof. So I was thinking maybe what I should do is attach the put the router in the roof in the ceiling cavity. I hope it doesn't get too hot for it. Maybe I need to put the router in the cavity as well, and then just run a really long monitor cable through the wall cavity, and then bring it out, or just a HDMI cable, and then just have the monitor sitting out. Do it that way. The only problem is if you got to go in and get it, you got to go into the wall.
Yeah.
If it starts messing around. So, but yeah, no, it's good. Do you want to see the cameras?
All that for a $40 monitor?
Yeah, $40 monitor.
That's pretty cheap. Is it used?
Secondhand, yeah, secondhand. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's just to sit up the back corner there for the what do you call it?
Is it like one of those 1024 by 800 monitors or something like that?
Yeah, it's just one of those Dell monitors.
Yeah. I mean, it suits its purpose. And $40, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just got a few scratches on it and stuff. And it's just like, yeah, whatever. I can afford that. You know, it's better than paying $110 for a brand new monitor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $45 just for a few scratches.
Uh-oh. I see someone carrying a rifle coming toward your house.
No, you don't.
Oh, one of your videos, your camera's
it's
off.
cut out.
I think the person shot it with the rifle.
Yeah, there it is. It's back.
Okay.
So that's that one.
Being there. Now the FBI is going to come through that ductway.
So that top corner one is this. So that's my car. So that's the front. That's the front yard. So that goes down a driveway. It's a steep driveway. Then we can go over to the other side of my car. Looking down that's my neighbor, my awesome neighbor. On the side here, on the left-hand side, or right-hand side, whichever way you're looking at it.
Yeah. It's the left-hand side for us.
Yeah. And then, someone's walking their dog. And then I've got to go pick up the dog poo on this one. I haven't picked it up yet.
This reminds me I need to go walk my dog.
There. And that's my backyard that I need to clean up. I'm going to plant a whole heap of plants along there.
So I was going to say something else about, I guess, I was wanting, you were on some maybe good topics earlier, but I was wanting to say something else, I guess, about Confucianism. Okay. I think something really interesting about Confucianism, noteworthy, I guess, is so they had these regional exams, and if you pass those, then you were qualified. Or no, it was like local exams. If you pass those, you were qualified to enter into like these regional exams. And then if you pass those, like once a year, they would have like a national exam in the capital. Right. And all the scholars would like congregate there and take this big test. They were really trying to work hard for it. And it consisted of, from my understanding, like learning Confucian's texts by heart, like so that you could recite them or write them by heart, just from memory at any given point, kind of like a lawyer, be on call, like to know whatever. And then also the tests consist of like poetry writing and like calligraphy and things like that. I guess it was just like historical knowledge and stuff, how well you know the text. But it was like a centralized testing system that they used for like thousands of years or whatever.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I kind of knew about that. I always thought that was interesting, and because when I see a lot of the movies of the older Chinese movies, I'm not sure about Korean movies, but definitely Chinese movies. That they're always studying for exams or something like that. And it's like, exams? Did they have college back then? But yeah, the higher that you're able to get past these exams, the higher you can be as part of society.
But it was like pretty corrupt when it came to the calligraphy part. You know, they could just be like, "No, your calligraphy wasn't good enough."
Yeah.
So I mean, it's basically arbitrary. You know, so and so is somebody's son, or like nepotism or something like that could happen.
You definitely can have a lot of influence with just the people you know, not necessarily how much you know. Same problems we got these days, you know.
That's what's interesting about it. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's very healthy to have regional setup like that, like local then regional, and like so there's this talent, a clear pool of talent rather than just like everybody's coming from home might go to Hollywood or might go to Nashville.
Did you see the Serena Williams cartoon?
I don't see nothing unless I glance at it through Twitter. If I didn't have to go through Twitter, I probably wouldn't I would talk to people like you and Ben and Shirley. I would know absolutely nothing of what's going on in this world, and that's by
that and Joe Rogan helps a lot.
Joe Rogan's good. So can we just can I find a video of what happened?
Yeah, go on ahead.
Okay.
No problem.
No censorship here, except for censorship. No name calling, at least. Let's try to be a little civil.
It's open topic.
Yeah, true.
Or whatever. I mean, I like that. I like that. That kind of equality or something that exists here.
So I'm just going to play a 3.5-minute clip. It's just by Global News, California.
3.5 minutes. We ain't got time for that.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Our advertiser, our
no, I'm blocked because I'm not in America. Well, I'm not in Canada. Just go fuck yourself then. I'll just go to YouTube.
I don't know. You know that really cool show you showed us, Ryan, with the where they're making fun of ads. I'm like, what's the point of not letting other people see that outside the country? Like, what's the point? How does that help you by not? How does that profit you by like not letting you have more audience and more advertisement revenue? Like, that's weird. Maybe they can't negotiate ad revenue.
I'm not going to do the whole 14 minutes because that would just be
3.5 minutes, 14 minutes. What's the difference? I've restreamed 3.5-hour videos, Ryan. 14 minutes.
Do you want to do the 14 minutes?
Or if you think the 14 minutes is pertinent.
Okay. So I'll just set the scene. Championship match, US Open, women's, obviously, Serena Williams versus a 20-year-old Japanese / Haitian young lady called Naomi Osaka, who's playing under the Japanese banner. First Japanese woman to win a Grand Slam title. And Serena Williams, and this young lady idolizes Serena Williams. Like when they did
the video so I could play it, because I have a feeling that it might be
okay. Yep.
Freezing.
Okay, I'll just link it in chat. Copy. Where's Zoom chat? Chat. So, when Osaka won in the round before the championship round, she was starstruck by the fact that she was going to play Serena Williams.
Okay.
Completely starstruck. And Serena fucking...
Okay. So no spoilers?
No spoilers. The game's done. It's over, nearly a week old.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
You hesitation. Serena drifted back, and Osaka's lob just on the baseline. Carlos Ramos in the chair.
We don't have any code, and I know you don't know that, and I understand why you may have thought that was coaching, but I'm telling you it's not. I don't cheat to win. I'd rather lose. Just letting you know.
It was a coaching violation. I guess it was a thumbs up, and Serena's setting him straight. That is not coaching. I don't cheat to win. I'd rather lose.
It's not something I do. And I can understand why you may have thought that, but just know I never cheated. Okay, thank you, because I'm like, I don't cheat. Yeah, so thank you so much.
Another one does not want to give away the momentum that was so hard to win in the first place.
I was just going to say she's serving better this set, and then she had 2 double faults.
Break back point for Osaka. Serena will need a new frame. Smash that one. Back on serve.
Williams leads 3 games to 2. Second set, Osaka by 1 set to love. Code violation, racket abuse, point penalty, Mrs. Williams.
After Serena aced, double fault, backhand error, and took it out of the frame. It's a code violation. You add that to the earlier code violation she received for coaching by Moronoglu. That's a point penalty. Extremely rare in a Grand Slam final. So Osaka, after breaking back, begins this game up 15 love. Did not see that coming. And now Serena's confused by the score being called out.
It's unbelievable. Every time I play here, I have problems. What? Yeah, that's a warning. I didn't get coaching. I didn't get coaching. I didn't get coaching. You need to make an announcement that I didn't get coaching. Say that. You owe me an apology. You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life. I have a daughter and I stand what's right for her, and I've never cheated. And you owe me an apology. You will never do it again.
I think she's more upset about the insinuation that she was cheating than anything else. I mean, she's strongly stood against that, and that's much more important to her than the 15 love for Osaka.
Yeah, no.
Naomi Osaka breaks in front. Second set, 4-3.
Explain it to you. For you to attack my character is something that's wrong. It's wrong. You attacking my character. Yes, you are. You owe me an apology. You will never, ever, ever be on another court of mine as long as you live. You are the liar. When are you going to give me my apology? You owe me an apology. Say it. Say you're sorry. Well, then don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. How dare you insinuate that I was cheating?
Serena Williams still fuming. Carlos Ramos. She was demanding an apology from him for the insinuation that she had cheated, that there was coaching going on. Again, any player, they're going to bear the blame when it's the person in the player box who is actually accused of something.
Yeah, Serena was watching her coach give her a hand signal.
Verbal abuse.
And now,
penalty, Mrs. Williams.
Wow. Game penalty. There's some confusion now.
She shouldn't be serving.
There's some confusion. Osaka was serving at 4-3. Ramos just said game penalty.
Correct.
Oh my goodness, this is very unfortunate.
Are you kidding me? Because I said you're a thief. Because you stole a point from me. But I'm not a cheater. But why? But I told you to apologize to me. This is out. Excuse me, I need the referee.
Serena's asking for the referee. Osaka was ready to serve at 4-3. It was hard to hear over the crowd, but Carlos Ramos said game penalty. We said that the third code violation would lead to that.
Correct.
And now Brian Early, in his 39th year of working with the U.S. Open, his last year as a referee, is involved in something incredibly ugly. Ramos explained it to Early. Donna Kelso is in conversation with Serena, who's near tears now.
She called me a thief. When I went to game penalty, now that it's called the game penalty, she's calling me a thief.
That is not right.
So where are we now? Now we're at 5-2. Okay. And for calling you a thief. Okay.
And that's not right. This is not fair. This has happened to me too many times. This is not fair. This is not fair. But to give me a point to lose a game for whoever's saying that is not fair. I mean, it's really not. Yeah. But you know how many other men do things that are, I don't think they do much worse than that. This is not fair. There's a lot of men out here that have said a lot of things, and because they're men, that doesn't happen to them. No, I don't know the reason, because if I say a simple thing, a thief, because he stole a point from me, that does not make, there are men out here that do a lot worse, but because I'm a woman, you're going to take this away from me? That is not right. You know it, and I know you can't admit it, but I know you know it's not right. I know you can't change it, but I'm just saying, that's not right. I get the rules. I get the rules, but I'm just saying it's not right. If it happened to me at this tournament, every single year that I play, it's just not fair. That's all I have to say. It's not fair.
Well, Serena's played 18 U.S. Opens, and she may feel like it happens every single year. She's referring, of course, to the semifinal loss to Kim Clijsters, where there was a football called in the confrontation with the linesperson. But the bottom line is, Serena's back at the line, and she is serving to stay in this final now. It's 5-3. The crowd doesn't understand fully what's going on. The scoreboard has just flipped over. First code violation, awarding the second, which was the use of racket, a point. She called Carlos Ramos a thief. That was what he took exception to. And this is very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, this has never happened in tennis before. I've never seen anything like this. But at least the umpire could explain exactly the first offense warning and the second offense and what happened in that conversation with her for the third offense.
How does Serena possibly regroup from this? And what effect will it have on Osaka? She was given a free game. I mean, she's been given a game and a point, which helps the cause, but boy, another test of her poise.
Another test for her, for sure.
Some of the best serving Serena's had today. Stays alive.
She's still not finished, though.
5 games to 4.
Crowd is on their feet, urging her to fight back as she continues the conversation. Also in the corner. Her claim, Chrissy, is that male players have done things much worse and not suffered the same penalty. Do you agree with that?
I think male players have done things much worse, yeah, but not at the third warning where it takes away a game. Usually it's the first warning and they get a warning.
Carlos Ramos works many more men's matches than women's matches. He's one of the top chair umpires in the world by reputation.
Just remember that conversation, badgering, whatever you call it with the umpire, was the third offense. And usually we see that as the first and second
given
offense.
the gravity, many people would say restraint is called for by the chair umpire there. A game penalty in a Grand Slam final is unprecedented.
I don't, like she said, she called him a thief. I'm not quite sure that merits a warning.
Time.
No,
the first two do, but that last conversation, I think she just was going on and on and on and berating him, but I didn't hear anything awful.
Serena fights to maintain her composure in Osaka, the most important moment of her life. She's a hold away from defeating her idol and winning a Grand Slam title, something that seemed beyond most people's imagination a couple weeks ago.
Second match, Osaka, 6-2, 6-4.
Naomi Osaka, a quantum leap U.S. Open champion, instant star. But in the most controversial U.S. Open final ever. She was given one game and 1 point. She absolutely earned everything else.
She did. She did. And she was a champion this whole tournament. The composure, the maturity. She was depressed, I'm telling you. 2 weeks before this tournament, she had had bad results this summer, but now the tears of joy. She's beaten her idol. She's won her first Grand Slam. She's made history for Japanese tennis.
Boos for Carlos Ramos as he exits. Now Pam Shriver is with Patrick Mouratoglou. This comment should be interesting. Pam?
Well, Patrick, I know you certainly didn't intend to insert yourself in the way that it happened. Can you describe the motion that you made that was interpreted by the chair umpire as coaching?
That's pretty much
well,
it, man.
I mean, I'm honest. I was coaching. I mean, I don't think she looked at me, so that's why she didn't even think I was. But I was like 100% of the coaches on 100% of the matches. So we have to stop this hypocrite thing. Sasha was coaching every point too. It just, I mean, and it's strange because this chair umpire was the chair umpire of most of the finals of Rafa, and Tony's coaching every single point, and he never gave a warning, so I don't really get it.
Do you think Serena understood the rule that a coaching violation counted as the code of conduct? Therefore, when she broke her racket, she had the point taken away. Do you think she understood that?
I don't think so, but I mean, she's in her match. She shouldn't have to think about that, and she should be able to express her emotions. There are positive emotions, negative emotions. She's human. I mean, those two rules are killing tennis. I've always said it, not tonight. I've always said not to allow the players to express their feelings is stupid. I mean, it's not a big deal breaking a racket, I think.
I have a question. Have you ever been called a coaching violation before?
Not once in my life. Not once. No, to be honest, not once in my life. And you can check the records, you'll see. So it's strange to happen in a Grand Slam final.
What are you going to have to say to Serena after such a emotional, controversial?
I think some of the things that he said is pretty worth it. I mean, yeah, his record, never been called once. I don't know, it's a tough one. I might be in the Serena boat as much as people will probably not like it. But look, for me, I just want to play the game, right? I think she just wants to play the game, and then now we get all these rules. Is like, hey, you can't have a feeling. You can't say anything. I mean, taking away.
There's a difference. There's a difference between having feeling and emotion and showing that emotion on court, and being coached, which is against the rules. Right, and he must have been blatantly doing it for the umpire to catch it, right? Then to break her racket, that's a big no-no in tennis. You know, everybody knows breaking the racket is, or even even throwing the racket or all that type of stuff. And everybody knows that the penalty gets worse as it goes on. And you can't sit there and berate an umpire. Doesn't matter if you're swearing or not swearing. You can't sit there and berate an umpire. You're a thief. You're a liar. You're never going to
umpire again.
You're never going to umpire one of my games again. That's a threat, right, on his career.
I thought she said nowhere. I thought she said you'll never umpire.
No, in any of her courts.
In any of her games. That's a threat on his career. All right? So, she knows the rules. And then to turn around and say, guys don't get this. You go and look at all the videos on YouTube. Dokic just did a hand, with his racket, a motion towards the same umpire, and he got a warning. Did he carry on with it? He carried on with it a little bit, right? But not to the extent that Serena Williams did. To sit there and say, I'm penalized because I'm a woman. No, you're being penalized because you're behaving like a fucking idiot.
Well, I think she could have said I demand that this point be taken back for the thing, but I guess that might not be how might not be how it works. I mean, I don't know the precedence of everything of tennis. I feel like the umpire or the guy there was trying to stick with the precedented calls, and he was basically with the precedent of what you do in such a situation, and was doing something somewhat evenly. But she was upset, and maybe after having all the different trouble, maybe they could take 1 point back or something. She could have argued for that, and I mean, I guess, but at the same time, maybe it'd be completely futile because maybe it's just it's up to the ref, right? Ultimately, it's just the call that goes up to the ref. That's how it works, right?
But in all sports, sorry, Evan, but in all sports, the officials are the ones that are protected from the players. Okay, because if you don't protect the umpires, then the players will turn like she did. And she knows that she shouldn't be talking to people like that. She knows. She's been around tennis for over 20 years.
She lost her temper.
Yep, and from her point of view, it's a principle that she won't cheat. And I don't think she cheats. I don't think so. And so if a referee told me I was cheating when I wasn't cheating, and I've never cheated ever in my career, I am going to go off on that umpire.
But he's not accusing her of cheating.
Well, that is cheating.
No, he's accusing the coach. He's accusing the coach of coaching her. That's what he's accusing. So that's a violation against the player. You can't penalize the coach for coaching because the coach has got nothing to do with the game. So if a coach is going to take that stance and say, look, everybody coaches, so I'm going to do it. I mean, I'm going to go out and shoot. I'm going to go out and shoot someone because other people do it too. It doesn't make any sense.
I see that.
You got to. They know
the rules. He did
admit
that he was doing it. So
yes, he did admit it. But then he tried to cover it up by saying, other coaches do it, like in Nadal's match and all this other type of stuff. It doesn't matter, man. If you're a coach of a player, you should just sit there and cheer them on and do nothing else. Otherwise, you're gonna have that instance.
I always think it's funny in tennis though that a coach can't coach in an actual match when all other sports, all coaches coach during a match.
Because it's supposed to be a contest of the players and not anybody else.
Yeah, but all the sports, the coaches during matches.
Yeah. I understand that, but I'm just explaining why tennis doesn't allow coaching is because they try and make it about the players and not anybody else.
Yeah.
I think if he would have done something if he did that because he has a vendetta or something kind of personal spite or something something that he's mad at is Serena Williams. I mean, if it was personal and targeting her and just like treating her unfairly, that would be clearly wrong. But it would also be wrong if the referee would like pardon her or let her pass with something or let her coach get away with something just because she is who she is and she has all that clout. To me, that would be a lot worse if you know they were cheating for her or something like. So maybe he was aware of that. Like maybe he's just like calling things actually as fairly as possible, and I think that's really important. Like super important.
He's one of the highest regarded umpires in the world. You know what I mean? It's not as if he's some, you know, backyard tennis umpire that that they pulled out of, you know, some little league tennis competition out because all the umpires were sick that day. You know, this guy is one of the best umpires in the world. And to sit there and take, you know, you're a liar, you're a thief, you're a this, you're a that, and then sit there and say men get away with worse. Well, you go and watch the videos, a man will call the umpire a fucking idiot and get, you know, a game warning for it. Like not a game warning, a warning for it because it's their first offense. Now, it's not their third offense. So you can't go in tennis, you can't go from just because of the severity of the warning, like somebody say, I don't want to drop her real name, but John Smith walks up to the umpire and says, you're a fucking idiot for that call. Then he gets a warning for it. First warning. Then if he carries on and does more, he loses a point. And if he carries on and does more, he loses a game. That's how it works. So she got a warning for being coached. Whether she thinks she was or not is, you know, neither here nor there because her coach admits that he was coaching her. Then you have the smashing of the racket, which is a clear code violation. I mean, imagine if players could go around and break rackets all the time. Imagine how the sponsors of racket companies would feel.
I don't care.
You know what I mean?
But it would slow the game too.
It would actually be sexist if she got away with it because she was a woman. Like it would be sexist that way as well.
Mm-hmm. Or it wouldn't be sexist. It would be because she's Serena Williams and she can get away with things because it's Serena Williams. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Shirley just said McEnroe used to do it in every game.
I used to watch tennis when I was a kid, like in the 80s and 90s. I think that was the last time I really watched tennis. I watch a few games now and there in like the 2000s. But man, I haven't watched tennis in a long time. But yeah, McEnroe would just sit down on a court. And
but rules change. Rules change over 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Tennis today is totally different to tennis back then. Yeah. You know, and to compare the two is just, you know, and nobody back in the day when McEnroe was having a hissy fit thought that McEnroe was a good bloke. Everybody thought he was a fucking idiot at the time. It's only until after he retires and he becomes a commentator and all that type of stuff that we turn around and go, oh, he's not a bad bloke after all. But people still think he's a fucking idiot for carrying on like a fuckwit. I mean,
I don't think that's going to be able to sully her name or reputation. I do think later on, 20 years down the road or 15 or whatever it is, whatever it takes, some time down the road, she's going to look back at that and be like, oh man, that was a shame that happened like that. Kind of like the commentator was like right there. He's like, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Like it's definitely unfortunate for her opponent's concern. She probably beat her outright, you know.
But here, look, all valid points, and I agree with it. But also, there's a point in a player's point is they just want to play the game, and sometimes that first offense just kind of you're kind of hampered by it. For example, basketball, I play in this league, and it's like I'm not big at all.
Do they have all the rings for you, short ass?
So they would. I mean, I'm not even touching the person, but it looks like I'm touching a person, and then they call foul. It's like, dude, I didn't touch him. It's like, no, I saw it. It was a foul. It's like, I asked the other player, hey, did I touch you? He's like, I didn't feel nothing. It's like, so like, why is this foul? It's like, you argue with the ref, and there's like, okay, he argued with me. Next time he does something, I'm gonna call it too. And next thing, a minute later, it's like foul. It's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't touch him. It's like, I even asked the player again, did I touch you? He said, no, he didn't touch me at all. It's like, I saw it as a foul. You know, it's like, I just want to play the game.
As someone who refereed basketball for many years, it's perception. Dude.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but when a player argues against you for it, you kind of have this little, you know, I'm going to show him next time you're talking back to me type of thing. Some people will do that, and I'm like, look, I pay to play in this league. I just want to play. I wasn't fouled. The other player admits to it. So why am I getting called again? Is it just because I called you out the first time? It's like, I'm telling you because I wasn't, and I'm fine with it. Second time, that's a little bit overboard. And then I actually got kicked out of the game for arguing for that second foul that I didn't foul.
You got kicked out of a game for arguing the second time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
shit.
And that's like, how could you not start yelling and arguing against the person? It's like, just let us play the game. It's just, I mean, people have fouled me harder than I even perceived to touch the other person, and it's just horrible. And so, but I think it was, and this
hindsight 2020.
This one ref, this is in Boston. Every time he reffed one of the games, I've always gotten like fouled out. It's like 5 fouls, you're out. It's like I could just be in the game standing still, foul. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And this, yeah. So it got me. I mean, it gets under your skin, and yeah, I think I don't know. Yeah, we don't know the history between her and the ref. But the ref seems pretty legit. And yeah, Serena. But still, that stuff lingers. It does for the player and the ref. I mean, people. It's just the condition of the people, and it really for like us little leaguers, us amateurs, it's all about just playing the game and having fun. But the people out there that are watching a Grand Slam event, they paid hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and yeah, we don't, us low people don't care about that. But still, it matters for the people watching, because it's not just about the players playing the game, but it's also sponsors making a lot of money, and the people who are watching. For the sport. It's not good for the sport, exactly. And so they need to do something about it. Even
she got fined.
Yeah, I don't know.
She got fined $24,000.
She makes millions of dollars, hundreds of millions.
Yeah, she made $1.8 million off that match.
Yeah, so it's like us being fined like 50 cents. It's like, hey, 50 cents again to stop me from doing the same thing. If it happens again, I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, Ben left.
Hey, Ben. Oh, he's back.
Oh.
Hey, Ben.
Ebon kicked you off.
Yeah, you're being too talkative, Ben.
Ebon's the fucking asshole.
What was that, Ben?
So it popped in and out. I went outside to smoke and it lost signal.
Right. Hey, you shouldn't smoke. It's bad for you. It'll kill you.
Shut up.
Now I got to smoke too.
Anyways, 12 minutes until it's 3-hour mark, and I don't want to go over 3 hours. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go cook dinner.
Okay. Yeah, I want to eat. I haven't eaten since 15 hours ago.
I'm pretty happy that I've got that up and running, though. It's been a long time in the making getting those cameras up and running like that. You can see them now. See?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot better watching that Serena Williams thing than just reading about it. So thanks for sharing that, by the way.
Yeah, that's interesting. You got me back into. It's good, valid points. I agree with you. Like if I was a, I don't know how I would have reacted. I might have reacted the same way, but typically I would temper down because to me the playing out the game is more important than, and we could ferret out the issues later.
The main problem is if they let her get away with that kind of conduct, everybody else is going to think, well, if Serena Williams can get away with it, so can I.
Yeah.
And that's where the real grubbiness of this type of thing can spawn from.
If
you know what I mean?
There's going to be any justice, it's got to apply to everyone. There's no exceptions. So if there are rules and laws set up, then everyone's got to follow those rules and laws. And if one person is exempt, then it should be exempt for everyone. Yeah, you're right there too, Ryan. So
these like you said, it's so expensive to go there, and there's like a lot of prestige surrounding it, and a lot of etiquette, and a lot of formality. So it just it's kind of something you have to uphold.
Hey, isn't it Wimbledon? You can't even wear anything besides white.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna show up like who's the other tennis player in the 80s and 90s? Andrew Agassi. Like he was a colorful dude. He I think there was like a kerfuffle where he went to Wimbledon, but he wanted to wear like his colored bandana, and they wouldn't let him. I think that happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Pat Cash, the Australian, won Wimbledon in '87, and he used to wear a black and white checker bandana, headband. That's what he was known for. And they tried to stop him from wearing that, I believe, and he just told them to fuck off. It's white and it's got a bit of black on it. So in the good old Australian way. But I'm surprised Wimbledon doesn't make them continue to play tennis with wooden rackets and shit, And the old school.
I would watch it if they had to wear if they had to play with wooden rackets. I would watch tennis again.
Could you imagine how slow the ball would be going?
Yeah.
Douche. Douche.
It probably wouldn't be an exciting game, but it'd be a funny game. It'd throw a lot of players off.
Oh, it would, because they don't have like they're smaller. Like if that's a wooden racket, because I used to have a wooden racket back in the day before they came out with graphite and shit, and then they grew like to that big, and it's like fucking hell, you got double the space and to hit the ball with and stuff like that. That's some crazy.
Really large rackets these days, or at least back in the 90s. I don't know anymore. I mean, do they even make? Is there something better than graphite that they make it out of, like titanium alloy?
Oh yeah, they'd make it out of something better than graphite, I believe.
Carbonite, titanium alloy, spider web,
carbon fiber mixed with redback spider web, with all glued together with bat shit.
Yeah,
something stupid like an extract from the bat shit.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on, guys.
No worries. Catch you later, guys. Peace
Ryan,
out.
see you,
Night, Cheryl. Love you long time.
Night, Cheryl. Everybody watching.